Welcome to episode 97 of Masters of the Forge. So, before we go any further, this is going to be an explicit show. We're going to try not to be explicit during the intro here because we have a hobby topic to do before our actual main topic. So, fret not, you may have the chillins nearby while we discuss the first couple topics. But I presume, Jason, that in the past couple of weeks that you've had some hobby progress.
A little bit, not a ton, just because I went off on quote unquote vacation. So it's been.
You went on an adventure.
It's been light. I went on an adventure. I went and hung out with my family and saw my grandmother and played a game of 40K, and, well, it was a ridiculous version of 40K, but, you know, that's the kind of game I tend to end up playing all the time.
Those are the best kind.
So my hobby progress. Oh, yeah. It's definitely in my hobby progress to talk about. You'll find it amusing, I hope. I built some of the Primaris Marines in the new Dark Imperium box, and they will be Blood Ravens, but they're going to have some Thousand Suns iconography on there.
Oh.
You know, just to give them a little more flavor. I've got a narrative idea for them.
Belisarius Call's been busy.
Hey, man, you know, somehow the Blood Ravens always get new toys. Maybe he's their buddy. Who knows? I also built and primed the new Primaries Librarian because I can't stop myself from building librarians. It's ridiculous, and you laugh and John laughs about it, but yeah. Anyway, it's built. Anyone else who's interested in it, it's actually on a Terminator-sized base, which is really cool, and I really dig that, and I'm so happy because I've got a ton of those built, but I don't have them. I don't have Terminators on them yet, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
I also built the Inquisitor Greyfax mini that I've had for a little while. Yeah. Finally decided to go ahead and build that. Thought that'd be kind of fun. So that's the pardon me. So that's the building that I've done. While I was off on vacation, I saw a buddy of mine, Brett, and we ended up playing a game, and he and I tend to go for silly games always. And he had Robo-G, and I had Robo-G, and we built this 75-point list, but we just, as we were deploying, we just said, all right, no one shoots at these two guys, they're going at each other. And so then we just kind of ignored the rest of the game and let those two fight it out. So that was kind of fun. And I don't know if you play Sigmar. There's a special gate that will allow you to... It's kind of like a Gate of Infinity.
Right.
We added that and those rules to our game, just for giggles. We ignored the 9-inch deployment, or not deployment, but the deep striking, because...
Oh, okay.
You know, at the end of the day, we were just looking to see what sort of silly crap we could come up with, and boy, did we. So yeah, that was the game. It was a lot of fun. Robo-G is, he's got all these special rules, but when you fight him against himself, he dies pretty quick, just because of all the extra damage he's capable of doing.
Primarch on Primarch love.
Pretty much. Then for fun, we started bringing out other models to see what would happen, and he chewed through a Land Raider in just assault. Just one smack, and it was down.
No kidding.
So that was kind of cool. Yeah, it's, unless, if something doesn't have an invul save, his sword will chew right through it. If you roll a 6 on a wound, that generates extra mortal wounds. So I think we calculated his perfect damage could be 39 wounds. I think that was what we calculated to, or 36. But I mean, they were mortal wounds. It would there's all sorts of stuff that it would do. Because a lot of the wounds had 3 points of damage to one model. So he definitely can take out vehicles and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. Let's see what else. So it was also my birthday while I was off on my little vacation.
Yeah, happy birthday! I didn't know that.
Thanks. Yeah, it was the day I went and played the game, and so I saw a couple of buddies of mine. I saw Brett, of course, but I saw a friend of mine, Stevie, who I don't see him very often, and I don't think he's on Facebook, so I don't get to talk to him very often. But he gave me termies from the Couth box. Like, he said, "Hey, these are been in my car for a year. Do you want them?" I'm like, "Sure." So I've got a bunch of termies.
Yeah, I want some Terminators.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll take models. I'll paint those. And then this was fun. Brett gave me a squat model that he had in his kit. He's just like, I'm in purge mode. I'm giving stuff away. If I don't give it to you, I'm giving it to someone else. You will paint it. So I have a squat. I have a squat in like Terminator armor and a thunder hammer and some sort of weird, like, I don't know if it's a flamer or Melta thing on his arm, so I don't know what I've got exactly. But he's going to go into my Inquisition warband somehow. Let's see. Purchases. Oh yeah, here we go. I know some people don't believe purchases are hobby progress, but whatever.
Some people.
Some people. Hi, James. I picked up the Venerable Dread. I never built that kit before. It has... Let's just say it has a lot of options. They're almost stupefying. It's kind of cool. I did pick up the Deathwatch Captain Chapter Master dude. I picked up the Primaries Librarian, which I talked about. And I picked up a bunch of paints. My local store is no longer stocking GW paints. In fact, they're kind of not stocking paints at all. So I'm having to... Yeah, it's weird. They're not even stocking Vallejo. I think that's how you pronounce it. And so it's...
Maybe like they just took a hit on paints going bad and...
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, I think the store might be shutting down. I don't know. Or I don't know what's going on. But they're not stocking GW, and they really aren't stocking Vallejo. So I'm having to order paints online, or whenever I'm in a city that has a game shop, I'm just picking stuff up. Which isn't bad, considering that, I do travel a lot, whether I like it or not, but I do. So I just drop by and pick up stuff. And I think that's my hobby progress. It did give me kind of an idea on, contemplating my hobby progress based on the new edition, and I think we're talking about that in a little while, so... Yeah. What about you, man? What sort of mischief have you gotten into?
So I was working on the graveyard for the Age of Sigmar tournament the last time we talked, and I got it all built, and it looks pretty awesome. I said I was gonna scratch build the headstones. I did not do that. I did not have time. I was up till 4 a.m. painting Seraphon and graveyards. So I got like the main base coats down. I used some trees, the Woodland Scenics trees, the larger ones. I think they come in a pack of 24. And they just stayed naked because it was, it's a graveyard, so the trees are all naked. And
it's probably a better idea.
It is. And I realized going through some bits earlier in this week that I have a ton of headstones from the skeleton kit. Just the... Yeah. They come with tons of skeletons for the skeleton kit comes with tons of headstones for basing. So I
did not know that.
Yeah, I might add a bunch from there and put those on that board when I get around to working on it again. But it came out great. Like two boxes of the Garden of Moor, which I think the new one is actually 2. The new box, you actually get 2 of the old one in it. So get one of those, and you get a bunch of get a bunch of board and you put them on there, and it works really, really, really great. So I recommend that to anyone. Just add some trees and you're good to go. Because the trees come with their own little like roots. So like you stick the tree armature in this root base, and then you glue the base to whatever you're putting the tree on. So it works out real well. You just bend the branches. It's not a big deal. So I really like that. I'll probably do some more details on that at a later date, probably before Golden Sprue Cup. And I played in the Age of Sigmar tournament and won Best Painted, so I was really excited about that, especially after having been up until 4 a.m. painting. So that was really nice to have happen. And I'm just done. I'm done with the Seraphon for a long time. I don't want to touch those for a while. And I'm kind of done. I'm kind of done with Age of Sigmar for a while too. I'm eagerly awaiting the General's Handbook 2. It's just too matchup crazy. I can't deal with it right now. People, it's like 7th edition 40k. You're either getting crushed or not. So I'm not really interested in that kind of gameplay right now.
I think Mark had mentioned something about that on Facebook, where there were some Age of Sigmar formations that are super broken, and that GW knows, and that they're going to do something about it.
A lot of people's top tier armies are going to get annihilated very soon, and I have no sympathy whatsoever. So I'm currently I just finished painting one unit of Noise Marines for my Emperor's Children army, and those
look pretty.
Thank you. They're very loud. Like people are like, dude, can you turn down the volume on your Noise Marines because I can't hear myself think? And I'm like, no, I can't. I can't do that for you.
It has to be loud. It's too loud. You're too old, and you're probably an imperialist. So
I started with a Krylon pink spray paint. So I sprayed them that. Well, first of all, the modeling is crazy because I'm using lots of different pieces I wanted some of the super old Noise Marines, so I got some of those off of eBay to use as my Blastmasters. I got a bunch of kits from Pat. If you recall, listeners, I built and painted a Chaos Imperial Knight for him. I made it out of a Defiler and an Imperial Knight, and it looks super awesome. So I did that because he gave me a bunch of Noise Marines. So I have those. Plus he had some from that place that you always buy stuff from, Jason. Spellcrow.
Spellcrow. Yeah.
Spellcrow miniatures. And those guys are just straight up rock and roll guys, and they actually, like, one of them is like forking the horns and everything. So those guys are really cool. And I have a couple of the old guitar guys from, I think, 2nd or 3rd edition Warhammer 40k.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of those guys. One is going in a unit. The other one is going to go on the Land Raider when I do that. But right now I have 5 units of 6 Noise Marines built and ready to go, all with like lots of mismatched pieces. And I got the 10-man Chaos Space Marine unit with the Rhino as part of my prize support for winning Best Painted. I also bought a Grot or a Goblin Blood Bowl team with that money, but the big purchase was the Chaos Space Marines, and I mixed and matched all kinds of bits with that, and I even raided my Mark III armor from my Horus Heresy Burning of Prospero set to make those. And so Pat took
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Pat took one, looked at those, and just started throwing more Chaos models at me. So he gave me the Chosen I need to build my Chosen unit, which are going to be kind of painted like Super Chaosy Palatine Blades, which is a unit from the Horus Heresy. So to go along with Lucius, which he also gave me, I'm going to be doing a squad of Chosen to go with him, and they're going to be like, the Sergeant is going to be Lightning Claws, but everybody else is going to be Power Swords, because that makes sense to me for the Palatine blades.
Yeah.
And so those guys are going to be awesome, and I'm going to put those guys in a Land Raider. And that Land Raider, I think I might have mentioned before, I'm going to be raiding my bits box. Like, there's a couple awesome like statuary that came with the Gardens of Moor, and I might also kill a few Dark Heaven Reaper miniatures for statuary, and also some of my Sisters of Battle bits. I had the bits and pieces of a Exorcist, the Metal Exorcist, and I'll probably just use a lot of those pieces to help pimp out the Land Raider. So I'm looking forward to that. Pat also, I'm not done yet. He also gave me a sorcerer, and he also gave me a bunch of demons. He gave me demonettes and seekers. And a one-winged demon prince, and he's like, "We could probably find the wing somewhere else." I'm like, no, I am super legit just leaving him with one wing because that is awesome. So
battle damage.
Yeah, right. Like, and it's not like these demon princes actually fly with their wings, anyways. There's no way they could keep themselves aloft. So
yeah,
that's fine. So yeah, he gave me all those. Now I'm like, well, if you want me to paint another Imperial Knight, I will, because it's just ridiculous. That's so much stuff. So we'll add that to the list of crap I gotta do. So that's really cool. I've been doing a bunch of commission, some freehand commissions. I've kind of written off doing just regular commissions. But I love doing freehand, and it's kind of worth my time. So I did one for a gentleman I met on Facebook. He was looking for someone to freehand a banner for his Dwarf Thunderers. So I did a dwarf gun line on a banner, which I can't believe how much I got on that banner. I'm trying not to like toot my own horn, but like I'm truly like, I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I did it. It was a lot of work for 12 hours on a 1 inch by 1.5 inch square.
It was impressive. I looked at it and went, nope, I'm not doing that. Ain't happening.
So
nope.
I'm gonna be working on a buddy. A buddy has the Wingaling Dragon Orc character from Age of Sigmar. He wants me to draw on one wing like a bunch of worlds, and then on the other wing those worlds destroyed. So I'm gonna do that. That should be pretty cool.
Oh wow,
that should be fun.
Okay.
So I got that coming. I think that's gonna be my next project. Even though I just finished these Noise Marines, I think I'm gonna hold off on that and just do that because he needs them for Adepticon, which is a ways away. But I want him to be able to have those. If somebody gives me a commission, I should do it. Especially if Pat's gonna give me another Imperial Knight soon, I should definitely get those done.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
But yeah, I think the Emperor's Children are the army I'm gonna do for the Fate of Konor campaign coming up at the store. So I'm definitely going to want to keep on working on those and see where we're at. See where we're at by the end of July. So I've been playing games with my orcs. They've been pretty good. I've been playing like some narrative games and some casual games. I did a more of a casual tourney prep game against John's Shadow Sword list, and he kicked my butt.
I'll bet that was a new thing for him.
Yeah, that was I was playing my Imperial Knights, and the Shadow Sword does 2d6 damage with its gun, and it gets a d6 shots with it. So this thing, it's so gross. So he was just wrecking knights left and right. But I started a 3-game tree narrative with my buddy Gene. he came over last Saturday, and we stayed up late and played the patrol mission at, I think, 50 power level, and it ended up, he played his Blood Angels, and I played my Orcs, and he came out with 2 units of Death Company, and I think it's Astorath the Grim, I think, the jump guy.
Yeah.
And a Death Company Dreadnought. And I think he undervalued himself, because he just took a bunch of chain swords on one unit and a bunch of power swords on another unit. I feel like he was under power leveled, but at the same time, against Orcs, you kind of just want the extra attacks.
Yeah.
And that game ended in a tie.
Okay.
But we decided that since he only had he had 2 dreadnoughts. One didn't come in until turn 4, because in patrol you have reserves, and he kind of got reserve screwed a little bit. And all he had left at the end of the game was 1 dreadnought, and he's like, "Yeah, why don't we? You won this one." Like, yeah, I probably did. So we're gonna be we're gonna say that I captured Astorath, and we're playing the tree campaign in the back. If the defender wins, then you go to the rescue mission. So we're going to say Astorath was captured, and we have him hidden away in our city, and Gene is going to have to rescue him. So that should be super fun.
Yeah, it does sound fun.
Yeah, the sentries rules are pretty interesting. Also coming up, I just got a box full of terrain from Frontline Gaming. They didn't send me a mat. I think he said he was going to send a mat, but whatever. It's all right. I'll play it on a fat mat, which I'm sure will be fine. So it's that orc terrain. So that'll be super fun. I'm looking forward to that, and we'll do that in the Altar of War missions, which is my little side project for Masters of the Forge. And that should be super fun. But I'm going to do this commission first. I'm going to do that up before I do that, and make sure I have all the units I need for the Fate of Konor. Also, I'm not sure. I think it's 500 points. We'll talk more about it later. I need to find out before we have our painting day next weekend. Not this coming weekend, but I think next weekend we have a painting day at the store, and I need to find out how many points it is so that people know what they need to paint. But I think it's 25 power levels, so I think I'll only need to get 2 more units painted up, and I'll probably I might paint the Rhino and call that good for July. But
yeah, that could do it.
I think that's
65. Wait.
Yeah.
What are the new points for the Rhino?
The Rhino? Well, power level, I think it's 5 or 4.
Is it 5? Okay.
Yeah, so I think
4 sounds about right. And
the dumb thing, the thing about the Noise Marines, which I talked about before, was that they're power level 5, and there are a certain power level for 5 of them, and then there are a certain power level for 5 more, but I want to run them in units of 6 because Emperor's Children. So I don't know. So I guess when I'm running power level, they'll just be in units of 5, and that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. Okay, well, I guess that's all the hobby progress.
Yep.
But we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna come back and talk. We're gonna talk a little bit about sorting out your hobby progress for 2018 for 8th edition, not for 2018 for 8th edition, and then after that we have a panel discussion that we had with. Oh, but you weren't able to make it, Jason. That was sad.
Nope.
That was sad.
Because I missed harassing people that I've never talked to before.
That's okay.
That makes me sad.
We'll get them next time, and that is going to be a very explicit and somewhat salty, because I'm salty about the Warhammer community right now. So I was a little salty. So be careful.
It is explicit.
Yeah. So, but this first segment is Odoki, and we're gonna have some commercials. Be right back.
Hello, everyone. the Masters of the Forge is now a proud member of the NPC, the Narrative Podcast Consortium. Our aim is to inspire your hobby through the rich lore of the 41st millennium. If you enjoy our podcast, then make sure to check out these other awesome shows, where you can get coverage on campaigns, Black Library, and all kinds of general topics of the 40k background.
The NGC 40k podcast also provides in-depth campaign coverage, audio dramas, and free-flowing narrative campaign creation.
The Adeptus Terra podcast also features in-depth discussions of the lore and commentary on the hobby.
Oh, and sexy English voices.
Oh, yeah.
The Masters of the Forge brings the world of 40k to life on your tabletop, with discussion on the lore, backed up by narrative-themed rules and battle reports.
Of course, this is only a fraction of the topics covered by the podcasts of the NPC. Please tune in to find out more.
So, Jason, you had a great idea for this segment where we discuss kind of planning your 8th edition hobby progress.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a great idea, but whatever. It's an idea.
It is an idea. It is
Yes.
It is an idea that puts this episode over 2 hours. All right. So
Woohoo! Mission accomplished. That's all we need. All right.
So we have some notes on this, and we can loosely kind of follow them. And I think this broke down into 3 kind of sections. The first one is philosophy, the second one is strategy, and the third one is the tools that you need to execute said strategy. So I'm copying and pasting things that I messed up. That's totally fine. Little how the sausage is made.
Phrasing?
Making sausage. Making sausage. Making sausage.
You know singing stays in, right?
Sausage. That's right, it does. No. No. I've messed up. I kind of got strategy. I got strategy and philosophy mixed up. Okay, philosophy. First of all, you do what works for you, right? Like, don't listen to what other people say, especially us, and think, oh, well, they said well, I should do it this way, so I guess I better do it that way. No, you use what works for you. And I've heard lots of people give advice that I've been like, well, that's stupid. I would never do it that way. That does not make any sense. But at the same time, like, that works for them. Like, I was listening to the Adeptus Terra podcast the other day, our NPC bros, and Sam was saying, or not Sam, one of their listeners was saying, well, one of the things that gets me going in the hobby is not doing the hobby. And Matt agreed with him, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But for some people, taking a step back works, and that's good.
Yeah.
I personally have to work at taking a step back. I can't. I am fully addicted.
Well, I know that one of the things I do is while I'm on my absolutely lovely commute is I'll think about, well, how would this work? Would this be fun to paint? Which I think, what does that work under? Philosophy? Yeah, I guess
but
so.
it follows right into the concept of trying out new stuff. Yeah. Like, you built a Primarch.
Yeah. Because, why did I build the Primarch? Oh, because I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah.
And because it was in the box. And I was like, let's do this because I haven't built a Primarch yet.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of this has to do with trying out stuff while we're in this state of flux. Right?
Yeah.
Because we have to expect that change is coming. With the new codex is coming out. Like, these indexes are very much
stopgaps.
a stopgap measure. So you have to be prepared. Okay, no, you have no way of being prepared for what's coming,
Right.
at least with any absolute guarantee. So
Yeah, because the formations of 7th edition may or may not be back. I don't think that the 7th edition formations will be back.
They're gone.
But I think other formations are coming.
Well, at the very
Or
least,
something.
they have guaranteed in the codexes that there will be new stratagems, new warlord traits, new relics, that kind of stuff. So I'm looking
forward to that.
I would very much caution or err on the side of caution and not go too crazy with like very specific model loadouts.
Yeah.
Or at least for the love of God, build with super glue instead of plastic glue. Seriously.
Are we having that discussion on here now?
Well, I'm just saying. Well, at least for the time being, build your models so you can change what they do, because something might be more fun for you in the future, or just be prepared to buy new models. Whatever.
Well, one thing that I've been doing is, I still really dig the Horus Heresy stuff. I am saddened that they're not moving to 8th edition sooner. So what I'm doing is I'm still building towards the Horus Heresy stuff, but I'm building in the idea of, I've got these models. What would they work as in 8th edition? So, for instance, I built 2 Vigilators for my Thousand Sons army. They're very ornate, and what I thought was, well, what I can do is turn them into Honor Guard, because they are ornate. They're power swords and bolters. I was like, well, I'll just make them Honor Guard. They'll look really cool. They'll work on the table. And then I realized that each one of them was a power level 1. I was like, oh, I can spam these guys. And they punch pretty well. They're no joke in hand-to-hand combat and in assault.
Well, I think that's a good philosophy to go with for the time being. If I felt that building more Imperial Knights would help my situation, I would, but that's not a thing. That I'm just going to build these Noise Marines, and I don't think they're going to change much, especially considering the GW models are very static and everything. I mean, it would be great to get a plastic kit, but we're getting Nurgle first, and I don't really suspect Emperor's Children for a little while. We do have that beautiful description of Fulgrim in the
Dark Imperium.
Dark Imperium, but I think it'll be a little while, so I think I'll be all right. So why don't we talk about executing this philosophy? Like, what can we do in the meantime while we're building our armies? Certainly anything new that comes out is fair game. Like getting that
the
bright,
Primaris
shiny
models.
Yup, the new Nurgle. Nurgle's coming out. Chaos will be out soon. So those things are coming up. Anybody with a codex that's coming up might want to move to a different project while that stuff is panning out, or there are some things that are a given, right? Transports.
Yeah, you'll need transports, troops. Yeah, you'll probably need HQs of some sort. I'm sure the named HQs aren't going away.
Yeah,
or
painting your named
not all
HQs. And things are always good, like being any kind of mobility is great. Jump troops are great. Like my sorcerer, I'm definitely putting him on a jump pack. I definitely want to buy some warp talons and some raptors to go with my Emperor's Children. I think they're kind of between the Emperor's Children and the Night Lords. I think those units are endemic of their combat strategy. And I definitely, if you read through a lot of the missions and you look at the detachments, you're still kind of needing troops. Like all the narrative missions that I've played, a lot of them have like recycling special abilities and reserve abilities, and a lot of those abilities give preferential treatment to troops.
Yeah,
so
that is true.
And troops hold objectives better than anybody else. So I think you're safe and kind of starting off with some troops and starting off with some HQs, like you were saying, Jason. And I think that's been GW has thought about that, because that's what we're looking at for the Fate of Konor. So with the Fate of Konor, they have you on week 1. You start out with a start collecting box, which is always some troops and an HQ and maybe like one heavy.
Yeah.
Then it moves on to elites, tanks, psychers, fast attack flyers, and lords of war. So right
wait,
there,
where are psychers occurring again?
Week 4.
Week 4. Okay.
So it's like building up. It's building up to throughout the weeks, and I wonder if there's going to be some kind of. I think that might be the chaos release time frame for that week. So, and then you're going to have flyers and stuff in there. So there might be a new flyer coming out before too long.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think that's a lot of fun. It builds it up, and you can do the same thing with your hobby. Just build it up from what's absolutely necessary to what is toys, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, Jason. I mean, sometimes I feel like the troops are the hardest, though, right?
Yeah, because you got the numbers. Going through and making a full-sized orc boy mob, what is that, 30?
Yeah, Curran is trying to sell me like 24 boys right now, and I'm like, it's a pretty good price, but I don't know if I want to do that. I don't want to know if I want to risk getting stabbed by my wife to buy something that's just going to want to make me stab myself anyways.
What makes me laugh, and this is what really makes me laugh quite a bit, is when you did the recalculation of your army on the orcs because of all the numbers changing. That made me laugh. It made me laugh a lot. What were the numbers again? If you don't,
I was sitting at 22,000 points of orcs, and I am currently in possession in the new point system of 28,800 points of orcs. So I'm almost at 30,000 points now, thanks to the changes.
Almost at 30K.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. What's funny is a lot of orc players say that they dropped in points.
Really?
That's probably because I own a lot of tanks, and tanks went up drastically in points. So that might have something to do with it. So dumb.
Oh no, this is great. I love this. That makes me laugh quite a bit. So yeah, read through your books, read through the narrative missions, know what everything can do, and see what you want to play with. Everything is good now. Everything is fun. So go ahead and try something new. Get your hobby going on something fun. I'm gonna be slaving with these Emperor's Children, though. They are a lot of work. That is a lot of that's a lot of different colors. Like, I went full Motley on these guys. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. So let's talk a little bit. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Oh, well, what I was gonna say is that, I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I now have, let's just say I have a large number of termies that aren't built, and just leave it at that, because we don't need to talk those numbers. We really don't. And I could use those for some sort of force. I haven't decided what I would do with those. I think you know about this. I'm not sure if the listeners do, but you know that I'm taking my Grey Knights and paying them as librarians for Blood Ravens because, that could work. It could be fun. And I've got a bunch of Grey Knight stuff laying around, so I'm trying to decide if I, want to go there yet. I'm just, I've got some ideas. I'm just trying to figure out where I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
I could go.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I could go through and, I'm working on the Primaris Marines because I know that those definitely have rules coming up and no matter what I do, it'll be a force to start with. And they're gonna have that Thousand Sun kind of iconography, but it's one of those things that right now it's really cool where we are. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going in my hobby right now. The nice thing is that this uncertainty will probably last another day or two, and I'll be fine. Probably just do the Primaris Marines, because why not?
Yeah, they're super fun, and that reminds me, Pat also at one point left a bunch of Blood Angels or Dark Angels here because he just doesn't want anything to do with them. So I have the entire Dark Vengeance Blood Angels Dark Angels sitting here. And I'm like, well, that'll get me to 17,000, I guess.
Yeah.
So, it's been years since I sold my Deathwing army, and there are 5 Deathwing in there. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll just... Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll paint those guys up, and if I like them, maybe I have a new army. Or if not, I'll sell them and give Pat half the money.
Yeah. Or...
listeners, is anybody looking for a fully painted Dark Angels Dark Vengeance set? Because...
I know a guy.
Awesome.
All right, so what else are we looking at?
We're looking at tools, but the independent characters had a pretty decent episode on this a year and a half ago. But I think it bears mentioning, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have a giant spreadsheet. I have a giant spreadsheet detailing my year's hobby progress and totaling up the points and the models, because I'm doing this 17,000 point 365 model challenge for some reason. I don't know why.
Who told you not to do that? Who was it?
John and Jason, my friends, who are like, this is a bad call. You're having surgery this year. What are you thinking? And I'm like, yeah, I have a whole month off. What? So I have every month. So check this out. January, I painted 2,200 points. February, I painted 860 points. Oddly enough, February was 3 models. March, I painted 458 points. April, 1,185 points. May, I painted 1,798 points. June, I painted 6,089 points.
And 174 models.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then in July so far, 174 points, just those 6 models. So
okay,
I have painted 16,188 points. No, sorry, I've painted 12,784 points so far, and 301 models. So I technically only have to paint 63 more models, or 64 more models, unless this is a leap year, in which case, whatever. But
you'll have more models than you need.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of Sisters of Battle I still need to paint. Along with that, some other agents of the Imperium, and I have the 2 Blood Bowl teams, a smattering of Orc models, all the Emperor's Children, and I guess the Dark Angels, whatever. And I still only have 16,188 points. I still need to buy 900 points worth of models. Oh, I did buy the Primaries Librarian, so I guess I can add that in there. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
No, that's not even close. I need
I don't even know what his numbers are.
He's...
probably about 100 and something.
He's 7 power level, so...
Whoa.
So 150 points or something, I guess.
Yeah. Somewhere in there.
Yeah. So there we go. And if Pat does give me another Plague Knight, I guess I can paint that guy. So that'll be a lot. But, spreadsheets are great. Kanban boards are great if you can stomach, I haven't kept up on mine very well because I've had the spreadsheet. like
Yeah.
keeping track of the points, because the Kanban board isn't going to keep track of math for you the way a spreadsheet will.
Mm-hmm. That is true. You won't be able to go through into the calculations.
Another thing I do is I keep everything in like 40K boxes or Sterilite containers, so they're all stacked up by project in those boxes.
Yeah.
So that's helpful.
Let's see.
We
I'm looking through your spreadsheet to see what other fun things you have in here.
they also don't underestimate the power of the 1 Hour a Night Facebook group either. You should check that out.
Yeah, that's actually a really good group. They're very positive.
Yeah. Like,
you know,
Facebook groups,
we both talked to a lot of people there.
Yeah, a lot of groups are really caustic right now, and we don't truck with that horse hockey 1 hour a night. It is all hobby positivity over there, so head on over and check that out.
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, I've talked to a lot of people, you know, about having a place online that is positive, that you can actually work in and talk with people. And, you know, that's nice whenever you go through and say, hey, I have a question about this, and half an hour later, you know, you've got probably some incredible, you know, post by someone who actually does that stuff, like, you know, whether it be airbrushing or weathering or whatever, you know, at least people will say, hey, I don't know what to do here, but this is the resource that we use or I use or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's freaking
because
awesome.
Right now, you've seen some of the groups. They're very salty, very annoyed, but whatever.
Yeah, and if you have a tight-knit local group, I strongly recommend setting up a Discord channel for them to talk on.
Yep.
We have one going, and it's really nice for keeping track of people. We have a channel for in our server. We have a channel for hobby, people sharing hobby. It looks like Pete just finished his Plague Lord thing. That looks super rad. Good job, dude. Boom. See?
Yeah.
Positive reinforcement right there. Boom. Right off. Super simple. Actually, that looks fun. That thing looks freaking awesome. He did a great job.
The colors on it are amazing. His use of green
he's not
beautiful.
Afraid to use the color. That's so good. So we have channels for hobby. We have channels for just random discussion. We have channels for events. So we have a general events channel and we have a list channel. But we also create a new channel whenever we have an event coming up so that you can discuss that event specifically. When that event is over, just go ahead and delete the channel. Don't be afraid of deleting channels. All of this stuff is temporary. If a channel gets like slow, just get rid of it, because apparently nobody wants to talk about that. And they can just use the general chat for that. What I do is I set up every channel to only be visible with a permission. So you have to have a specific permission to view every channel except for the introductions channel and the random channel. So the introductions channel, I tell people the only thing you're allowed to post in there is an introduction of who you are, what your real name is. Any other post that goes in there I delete it immediately. So that helps you figure out who's who. And so if you're wondering, like, wait a minute, who's this person? And you can just go to the introduction channel and look. And then you have a random channel. I leave that open in case we have any unsavory individuals show up to the store. They can think that there's a channel that they can see, and that's the only channel as far as they're concerned. Wait, did I say that out loud? It's fine.
The nice thing about Discord is, in my case, I moved. So this is a great way for me to still keep up with the Albany crew. Right. And I get to see what Pete does, although he changed his name yesterday. And
we have two Petes.
We have two Petes.
Oh, Pete used to be a co-owner of Grimfoe Games. And he's been away for a while, but he's picked up the hobby again, and he joined our group.
Yeah,
So
I
now
know who you're talking
it's-
about now. Yeah, it's good to have people come back. He was asking about
yeah,
Eldar.
Yeah, lots of people are back. It's great. And the other great thing about Discord is lots of people hate Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, there are still people who don't have Facebook because they think it's like the Indians. It's like the it's like the fake stories of indigenous peoples who supposedly thought that the camera would steal their soul.
I'm pretty sure that Facebook will steal your soul. I'm not. I'm not going to sit there and argue against that. Sorry. I do have a Facebook account. In fact, I have multiple for giggles and fun, but you know,
but whatever the case, the reality is people don't use Facebook. But they will use Discord because it's a private server. They only talk to the people they want to talk to. Their Aunt Millie isn't on there posting anti,
whatever she might be posting
commentary. So it's great. And that's another, we do not talk politics, we do not talk any of that. The only original religion we talk about is the imperial truth and the worship of the dark powers. Yeah, exactly. So it's perfectly fine. But yeah, it's a great tool. Try it out. That's Discord. It's an app. Be sure to tell people they can set their notifications to only notify them when either they or everyone is actually specifically mentioned, because the notifications can get crazy if you want a notification every time someone posts anything.
And just a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. Today we're actually recording through Discord.
We are recording through Discord because Skype is being dumb, and I think from now on we just send people a Discord or a Discord invitation, say, "Hey, go here." And they'll be like, "I don't have that app," and we'll be like, "You don't need an app. Just go to that website. Thank you."
Yeah, it's quick. It's nice. I mean, and no, we're not getting paid for this. No, we're not sponsored.
No.
Blah blah blah.
I don't even know if Discord makes any money. I've never paid them a dime. I don't know what their model is because.
I don't either.
These internet companies, I think all the money they make is off of investment. So I don't know how. I don't know how the stock market works. It's very confusing. We're on a tangent. I think that means it's time to take a break and move on to all our friends, I hope, are listening to this show, and they're like, "What is this the way this show is all the time? Because this is terrible." Adam needs to move on to the next topic.
Well, I've got a couple of friends of mine who they're like, "Yeah, I'm going to start listening to the show because I mean we've been friends forever, but it's time." And I'm like, I wonder if I should just email them and say, "Yeah, wait for the next episode."
Wait for the next episode. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, there's going to be cussing. Greetings, mofos.
Are you out of George Dickel number 8, staring at a broken chess machine?
Well, don't want to spend the rest of the year tied to that couch?
Well, why don't you head on over to the 1 Hour a Night Facebook page and see what exciting stuff is going on there. It's a place to post all your daily progress in the hobby grind, as well as receive and give positive feedback. Also, there are usually a few interesting challenges going on.
That's right. All you have to do is search for 1 Hour a Night on Facebook. That's numeral 1 Hour a Night, all one word. Blood serum tests will be administered prior to approval.
Se til helvete og kom dere vekk. Det ikke bikkje, det en slags ting. Den imiterer bikkje, men det ikke det. Kom dere vekk, idioter!
What he said. All right, everyone, thanks for hanging in there with us. We're back with our main topic. We got together about a month and a half ago with most of these folks that I have here with me to discuss our hopes and dreams and aspirations for the new edition of Warhammer 40,000. And I kind of wanted to get everyone back together to see if those hopes and dreams were fulfilled or if they were left wanting, and to get an idea of what everybody's doing with their hobby now. And I want to appreciate everyone for showing up for this. We're going to do intros as we do our first question So again, this will be kind of a panel discussion because there's a good 8 or 9 of us here right now. So we're going to try and keep it easy, keep it sleazy. First of all, I need to ask everyone one very simple question. We'll start with Sam from the Adeptus Terra podcast. Sam, what's on tap tonight?
See, I was going to be really cool, and it was going to be Fireball whiskey with Coke, and like a nice little mixer going on. And then as soon as I started setting up, I got like the biggest headache. So I'm drinking the biggest glass of juice I could find, just to kind of try and keep myself hydrated. Like I'm probably like the worst in like hot weather. So it's not even hot here by any standards whatsoever. And I'm so dehydrated. Oh no. So I'm going to lie and say Fireball whiskey and Coke.
Well, okay, great. So, Mark, this is your first time here because you're here. Peter's not here yet, and we totally didn't steal this from you. But what's on tap tonight?
I actually am drinking a Hopalicious.
Oh,
it's an IPA locally made from Ale Asylum. Beer. That's what I drink.
All right, Chris Morgan from the Forge the Narrative podcast. Thanks for showing up. What's on tap tonight?
Oh, you know me. It's red. It's always red. So I've got a ruby red squirt in a giant Blood Angel engraved stein.
Oh wow, he's ready for the new edition of Warhammer 40,000, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm committed, like you read about
it. Carl from the Independent Characters. What is on tap tonight?
I am just drinking an Arnold Palmer at the moment.
Oh, so. Nice. Is it a dirty Arnie or just an Arnold Palmer?
No, after this I got to go do a bunch of moving of stuff in hot weather, so I think I'll...
Hot weather in California does not sound like a fun day.
Nope.
No.
Speaking of that, Brian, how's your balls? I mean, what's on tap?
Oh yeah, Batwing doesn't kick in till about noon here, but we got yesterday though. Shit got real fast. I'm drinking what do we got? I think same thing as last time, a Brew for or Die IPA from 21st Amendment Brewery.
Oh, nice.
It's good.
Excellent. So we have Jason Mullins here from the Sons of Heresy podcast. Jason, do you have anything on tap tonight?
Am I allowed to drink? Yes, I'm drinking a summer cocktail of champagne rosé gin.
Ooh, that is fancy.
Just because you're in England doesn't mean you get a drink classier than anyone else here.
Sounds like a French drink to me.
Now I feel I feel like I shouldn't have to ask this, but Big Jim Vladik, what are you drinking tonight?
Oddly enough, a rum and Coke instead.
What? What?
I'm out of Kahlua.
Oh, okay.
Kahlua, party foul.
Okay. You know what? That's I'll allow it. I'll allow it this one time.
All right, stop the show. Somebody help him out.
I know someone needs to drive down there and help him out.
I had friends over on Friday and we ended up drinking. So
nice.
It's just.
And
So you finished.
So I have my friend Mike from Canada here. Mike, how you doing?
Not bad. How about you?
Great. I assume that you're just totally liquored up at this point.
Absolutely sloshed. No, actually, not in the slightest. In fact, I'm just being self-destructed, drinking one of those rock stars.
Oh,
so.
Jesus!
Yeah, exactly. It's terrible.
Why don't you just pound some absinthe?
Yeah,
I'm questioning his actual status in Canada. I haven't even heard him apologize yet.
I'm sure I will at some point. Don't worry.
I'm sorry I haven't apologized yet.
Yeah, I used to drink those rock stars. I was on like 3 or 4 a day. It got real bad, got real dark. It was so bad.
Oh no!
I haven't drank them for like a year now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, they're terrible.
It was a really dark period of your life.
It was while I was in school, and like I'm only 25, so if that's the darkest time of my life, that's fine.
Oh no, so many calories. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of the conversation. The first question that I want to ask you guys is, what is your favorite thing about the new edition of 40K so far? And as a follow up, is there anything that you're disappointed about? Anything that's missing that you want, that you would rather have happened, or something that is different from what you had hoped for? So let's start with Sam.
So the best thing that's happened so far is probably the fact that £15 has allowed me to play four of my armies. Just from the Index 1, it's allowed me to play loads and loads of my factions that I own. So that's been really cool. Like straight out the bat, I haven't had to wait for like 6 months, a year to get sort of updates through for a codex. Like this big drop has been really, really good for all of my factions and my wallet too.
That's a really good point.
So that's really cool. Yeah, it means that like I can go and enjoy. Like, I know we're getting the whole 10 codexes by Christmas, but I think it would be really cool to be able to just play factions. And I picked up my Imperial Guard again, which I haven't done in so long, just because I bought Index 2 as well, and I was like, well, they're actually the only ones that still make 2,000 points and are all fully painted, so I have to kind of play them for a while. And then I guess on the negative of that is because they've all kind of gone in these indexes, I kind of feel there's been some slip of personalization. So like I'm a massive Mephiston fanboy, and I was reading the Mephiston book recently, and in there,
David Annandale one.
Yeah, he never seems to walk anywhere. He just seems to grow wings and fly, which is awesome. Like if I could do that, I would definitely fly everywhere.
Yeah, man. I told you I model my life after Mephiston.
And it's really it's because of these indexes, and because they've kind of had to condense those codexes down into 12 pages or something. They've lost all of those special abilities. He can't fly anymore for now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we can all look forward to some more specialized rules and stuff, and that everybody's really looking forward to that. But you're right. I think it's great that we're all on the same page basically right now, aren't we?
Yes, 110%.
So let's do, Mark from NGC 40K. What do you think? What's your favorite thing so far, and is there anything you're missing?
My favorite thing so far is, and this has been reflected by other people, but that I feel like a las cannon sort of acts like a las cannon, with the damage rolls. I really enjoy when you hit, you might do a variable amount of damage. I like that a lot. The thing that I probably and just the gameplay in general. I'm enjoying the new system. I was one of the early detractors of 7th once the formations got out of control. I felt like I was really falling behind in the game. I felt like I couldn't keep up with everything that was going on with all of the formations and everything. People would bring armies to the table and I just couldn't even comprehend.
You're not the only one, though. You're absolutely not the only one. Yeah,
exactly. And that happened kind of early for me. So for a long time, I was kind of wary of 7th. So it was really just a big. I like the big reset. I feel like I'm playing a game that I have a full grasp on again. And I guess the thing that I miss the most, I would have to say, is flame templates. I don't mind that templates are gone. But I really liked the idea of aiming for a cluster of guys. In the games that I played, the times that I used flame templates, I sort of missed the physicality. That was that's it.
I understand. That's cool. Okay, Chris Morgan. From Forge Narrative, do you have a favorite thing? And again, guys, if you have a favorite thing that echoes someone else's, that's totally fine. You can say that and maybe either embellish or tell us your second favorite thing.
Well, I think that if I had to pick a favorite thing, just coming straight out of a grand tournament that I ran the last 2 days, organized play in general. Out of all the players, we only had a maximum of 3 players for any one faction. Nice. All 3 armies were distinct from each other between the similar faction, and they all played relatively well against each other. So as it is right now, you really have no outstanding leader faction. That you have people playing what they want, playing what they have, playing what they enjoy, and still having fun. So if I had to pick a thing about 8th that I like the most, I would probably pick that. And the second thing I would pick, just to sneak one in there, probably be Command Point.
Yeah.
Even though
Command Point's totally cool.
The reroll always betrays me, but I'm glad that I get the chance to be betrayed.
Fantastic. Anything you're disappointed about?
I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, and I'll probably get cut off of the tree for saying it, but I do actually miss formations and things. I miss the characterful nature, and this is coming from a guy with a faction with awful formations. Okay, so like the idea that by bringing characterful thematic units together got you a specific benefit felt cool to me, even though I recognize all of the problems with them, with formations not being equivalent among factions.
Yeah.
I love the character that was involved with that.
Right, and I keep kind of trying to. I understand that it got out of hand for the competitive scene and for, in a lot of ways, the I guess the club scene. But when it comes to narrative gaming, like 7th edition was probably the best edition in my eyes, because you really could make any army, and it had its own special rules. And if you weren't playing tooled up, it was fine. But it broke down super fast when you started actually trying to make something good, And so I agree with you in that, from that perspective, Chris.
Yeah, I was actually one of the biggest supporters of formations in the beginning, because I really liked the idea that if a Space Marine force looked like a Space Marine force, that it could be given bonuses that would give it a little bit more competitiveness.
Right.
I liked that a lot. I think formations were a good idea. It's just towards the end I thought they really kind of lost what they had to offer.
Right. Well, when you have so many options, there becomes so many permutations and so many ways of breaking things.
Right.
Yeah. So, Carl from the Independent Characters, do you have a favorite thing so far? Anything that you're missing?
So, favorite thing right now, I feel like the rules get out of the way of the storytelling now. Whereas before, like, everything you tried to do, they tried to have a rule for every possible thing that would occur. Now there's like an overarching abstract set of rules that cover everything that you want to do. And I think in the episode we're about to release, one of us is talking about how in California, if you go to a light and you're going to make a U-turn, unless there's a sign that says no U-turn, you can make a U-turn. That's kind of how I feel about this rule set. Unless it tells you can't do it, do it.
Yeah.
And so I really feel like it just gets out of the way of allowing you to play a game. And that's what I'm enjoying most of it.
The return of the rule abstraction, like, is so much better. Like, because you had that in 5th and the earlier things. And I think that a little too serious in a way, like everything was kind of thought for. So just how many times you've been like, what's the rule? How many years have we been playing this and I don't know the rule? Yeah.
And it's just it's exactly that, and I feel like it creates fewer opportunities for arguments. It just has the game. It's not a simulation. The game is not a simulation. It's a game.
Yeah.
And so not having to worry about, is this shooting from this weapon or what? It just makes it so much simpler. And I think that once people get over that and actually play it, and a lot of the criticism I'll hear is people say, I read the rules and it seems terrible. And I'm like, have you played it? like you can read the rules all you want, but play it and see how it all works together as a package. And it's fun. And they just took everything that wasn't fun in the game and took that out and left the fun parts. And I'm just having nothing but fun with it.
That's awesome, Carl. That's awesome. Anything you miss? You miss flame templates too, right?
Well, I thought I would. But I don't miss any templates. Like, they have a certain nostalgia place for me.
Right.
I completely agree with that. But in reality, like, anything that speeds the game up and still keeps its flavor, I absolutely love. I like that my land raiders don't get stuck on a branch anymore.
God, yes.
I like that I like that things are typically not being placed on the table, only to be removed immediately after the first turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not putting a 250-point unit on the table just to have it blown up immediately. Just everything seems to have a very good counterbalance that I've seen so far. And I think, and I kind of agree with a lot of what some of my friends are saying, which is I do kind of wish there was a little more rules to the terrain
Oh, yeah.
Cover kind of thing. But I see why there isn't, and there's nothing saying you can't say, hey, this big building in the middle, that one gives a 2+ cover save, instead of a +2 cover save instead of a +1.
Yeah.
But you're kind of on your own to do that at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how things develop.
Yeah, that's interesting. You say that, Carl. In the ITC Facebook group and some of the competitive 40K Facebook groups, I'm saying, in my events, I'm really thinking about adding a few more terrain rules for my events. It's hot or cold. There are some people that like the idea of adding some terrain rules, and then there's always folks who would really prefer to just play vanilla because it's a baseline, kind of thing.
It honestly, it hasn't been out very long. It would be interesting just to see how things play out as they are.
Exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't want to just jump into changing things immediately, especially for events. So, Brian,
to hop in here just real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that I did, just because I feel like we need more terrain than ever with the rules that are out right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to be more like solid, you cannot see through me types of terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we put this standing rule in for our ruins at this weekend's event that the first floor, regardless of whether there were windows or doors, would line of sight blocking.
Okay.
And by doing that, it protected a lot of those armies from that vicious first turn shooting. It gave them a place to put their guys where they could be safe. And, because simply put, 3 weeks is not enough time to adjust, 20 tables
Oh, God.
of terrain to compensate for it. And it worked. And it was very interesting. And it's not something that, it's not like an ITC approved kind of thing. It was just a stopgap.
Mm-hmm.
And the feedback I've gotten from that is pretty positive. I do think that terrain is definitely, to your point, Carl, terrain and cover just got really important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Chris, just an aside, we had that same issue when we went to 7th for not 7th, it was the 7th Eldar Codex, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, okay, let's do this, and I got a bunch of sprue, and I cut it up, and I boarded up all the windows on the ground floor. It's at least a couple evenings worth of work for 10 tables of terrain, but it's a quick and dirty way of doing it if you wanna do that. It actually works pretty nicely.
Oh yeah.
So Brian from the Splinter Mind podcast, how you doing, buddy? What's your favorite thing at this point in the new edition of Warhammer 40,000?
I just figured out a tricky way to get two things in, because one of them, I want to agree with that last point.
Go ahead.
Well, no, it's I just didn't want to jump in on the last thing, but it has to do with it. Is that in Santa Cruz here, I was having to drive over the hill to play in Mountain View to get games in, because in Santa Cruz, the guys that played here were just like, yeah, no, a bunch of them were orc players and just didn't want to do it anymore. And so just people getting out and playing is also encouraging us to, now with the new rules, we need a bunch of terrain for our group that's over here. And so we're sort of getting to make all that line of sight blocking terrain with this edition in mind. So that part's really fun.
I know a guy who can paint a lot of terrain real fast.
Yeah, I know. Terrain Apocalypse. Yeah, I did. Yeah, those two commissions that I did kind of killed me. I called it Terrain Apocalypse 1 and 2, and Terrain Apocalypse 3 happens next month, but it's all going to be my stuff. So I'm
0 fucking points!
Yeah.
Terrain, every building.
Yeah, there's nothing like that giant cathedral that I painted towards my 365 models for the year, and I'm like, yeah, 0 points, 1 model. But the thing that I like is, and it was something that Carl touched on, was I had so many models. If I would have sat and thought about it, in my head, I know pretty much almost to the model how much stuff I own in the closet of shame that hasn't been painted. But I had a lot of things that I just had no interest in assembling and putting together because, I had both of the Forge World Dark Eldar vehicles. the Reaper and the Tantalus, and I've never put them together because I was like, it's not that it's a ton of effort. I just wasn't playing my Dark Eldar a lot because the edition was so bad for them. And, there'd be nothing worse than painting up that Tantalus model with all the work that it takes and what a beautiful thing it is, putting it on the table and it gets one-shotted off in the first turn, So it's just, and now that thing, I mean, when I read the rules, I was like, I would feel bad taking that. And then I started reading everybody else's rules and I was like, ooh, yeah, I better take that. So, that's my favorite thing is that the funny thing is I've gotten really excited about painting things and I haven't bought a single damn model yet for this edition because I have all these things in my backlog that I've been saving and sitting on because I was like, oh, someday maybe they'll be good and I really like the models and I don't want to get rid of them. And now they're playable. So that's the good part. The only complaint. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was just going to say that, no, that was it. Right, you go. You go first.
Oh no, because I was going to start bitching. Let's get something positive first.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead, Sam. Jason will get this in post.
No,
he won't.
No, he won't. He doesn't give a fuck.
So what I've pretty much managed to do is to co-host my co-host Matt is to write lists that include units that I know that he has that he doesn't want anymore. So now he's just started giving me more units. I haven't bought anything, but I've pretty much got an orc army now.
Yeah.
So you're getting commission work out of the new edition. Excellent.
Well, commission work, but I'm pretty much just going to keep it all. It's fine. He won't notice. He just rewrites stuff. So yeah, but I think I've managed to get 6 units off of him now that he's no longer using.
Nice.
Brilliant.
So Brian, you were about to start a drunken tirade?
Oh no, I've only had one beer. I'm not drunk yet.
Okay. Well, do you want to hold off?
Just a regular tirade.
Yeah, just a regular. No, and it's not even a big tirade. It's just, it's just in adjusting to a new edition. I mean, there are some weird situations with the way the rules are written, and Carl had mentioned that it's a little tricky because some people, our group is so used to having to change rules, like within our own group, like we had to for 7th edition, because we were like, look, we just want a game that works. We're just going to do this for this thing, whatever it is. But right now we're like, no, we're just playing it as written because it's, 2-3 weeks old. And we want to make sure, let's give it a chance before we start trying to change things. But there was a weird situation in a game where I had a Venom that was on a top floor of a building, and then sort of 12 inches down and 45 degrees off from it, there was a combat going on with pink horrors and a unit of what the hell was it? Kabbalite warriors or whatever it was. There was a 1 wound demon prince that had just been a pain in my ass, and it wasn't even I'm going to win the game if I kill this guy. It was just fuck that guy. He has 1 wound, and I want to kill him to feel good about myself.
Was it a Tzeentch or a Slaanesh demon prince?
Oh, it was Tzeentch.
Okay.
The Changeling is the biggest asshole in the 41st millennium. I've just decided. But anyways, this demon prince, I couldn't. The rules as written, I couldn't fire at him because it doesn't say you can fire at the nearest. You have to fire at the nearest eligible target. It says the nearest target. The character has to not be the nearest target, and I couldn't use 16 inches of movement. Because even if I went towards him, I was half an inch closer to this combat that I wasn't allowed to shoot in. And here I am looking at a demon prince on a 60 millimeter base with wings, and he's painted every fucking color of the rainbow because Tzeentch and he's awesomely painted. But I couldn't shoot at him, and I'm just like, wow, that's a little too much. I can see that rule for your little piddly shit, commissar or, some sort of a little guard character. But when you're looking at a demon prince and you're like, that guy's the size of a dreadnought, I should be able to shoot at him. But,
Understood. I can definitely understand your concern about that. And they just made the Chaos Demon one under 10 wounds too, so that makes him way more survivable, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah, I know.
That is weird.
But I didn't realize that going into that situation, and now knowing it, it's like, oh, okay, well, I can try to sort of position things and do it. So it's just kind of getting used to some of those weird things that are. I like that they've cleaned up. Most of the mechanics are really clean, and I enjoy the hell out of all the games that I've played. But that was just the first situation where I was like, yeah, that's a little fucked up. So
right, understood. So we just had Peter join us from the NGC 40K podcast. Thanks for joining us, Peter.
Heyo.
What's on tap tonight?
Tap day?
Yeah.
It's margarita time in Wisconsin.
Oh, hell yeah! That's what I like to hear. Oh, man, I won't be able to have them. What?
Are you wearing a glove?
I am.
Oh, what? He's smarter than I am.
It's a drinking glove.
A fresh blade will slice the hell out of a thumb.
Oh, very nice.
Glove keeps it from going through.
So this is
I love how
interesting.
everyone immediately understands the danger he's in.
I'm really excited about this because we have Pete.
Glove? I'm pretty excited.
No. I'm excited that we have Peter. We have Peter on the podcast because I feel like Peter's accent is a cross between Carl's and Mike's. He's got like a California Canadian accent. It's really exciting.
I was just going to say you could probably skip the glove and drink less. There you go.
I was going to say, do you think that latex glove is actually going to stop that knife?
It might help. Yeah. It might help. So Peter,
Wait, can I just note that the two gentlemen in England, one of them is drinking a fucking Monster energy drink or juice or something, and the other one just told a Canadian to stop drinking. So I don't know. I'm kind of offended.
My whole life is a lie.
I know, right? What the hell? Peter, what's your favorite thing about the new edition of 40K so far? And as a follow-up, is there anything you're disappointed about?
I've really enjoyed the narrative points, just the power level points. They're so easy. It makes making an army so quick. I went up to my buddy's house over the weekend, and it was just I could grab tactical squads and things like that. I'm not really worried about necessarily what their loadout was before leaving. I could just kind of grab some of those, some of my trays that I have them on for my, table war case and whatnot. I just whip them in there, and I could just take off and just figure it out when I get there, just knowing what the general points are roughly of, okay, this tac squad's 10 points, but I don't have to, care about, did this tray happen to have a las cannon on it when I grabbed it to go? Or did it have, I went over with a power fist. I mean, it doesn't matter. I just grab it and leave and figure it out when I get there, knowing it'll all work out just fine.
That's cool. And I've noticed like that, even stuff that you can go overboard with, like things like Death Watch, you're still putting billions of upgrades on a guy with one wound. So like you're only helping yourself so much, Yeah,
he can die off just as fast.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you're putting on him. As far as things I didn't like, there's one I can't think of what it was at the moment.
Must have been horrible then.
Yeah, right.
No,
he's got trauma memory loss.
It was pretty minor. It was so minor. It was like, and I can't think of what it is right now.
Probably just a kludgy rule of some kind.
Nothing in my head is something that's bad about this so far.
Primaris Marines. You don't like Primaris Marines.
I don't at all. 4 boxes of them. I'm freaking tired of assembling them.
Awesome.
If you don't like them, you could send them my way. I don't care with that.
Yeah, there's lots of great places to donate those to.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You can just see him walking around with a big trench coat. Hey, you want some Primaris Marines?
I got you fixed, man. I got it right here.
Jason Mullins from the Sons of Heresy podcast. Thanks for joining us. What is your favorite thing about the new Warhammer 40,000?
Well, I will say simply that I can play it.
Right.
Like, so in the kind of London scene, we've kind of stopped playing Warhammer among my friendship group for the past 2 years. So I was one of the people who wasn't thrilled with formations to start off with, and I kind of drifted towards 30K. I've always loved the Horse Heresy and got sucked into the background there.
Amen.
And I really like 7th. It's a fun system, but 8th, when it came the reset, the simplicity, sort of the freshness of all of it. I've actually got back into playing Xenos. I haven't played Xenos for 2 years, so I've started an Eldar pirate army, and I've been really excited about it, and I'm just thrilled with the rules. And it's very strange because I'm still happy with 7th and Horse Heresy, but I'm loving 8th and can't wait to play more, actually. The one thing I miss, and I have to say this, I still am sad that there is no opposed weapon skill. I don't know why, but I love opposed weapon skill.
Yeah, I would. I don't blame you, and I kind of like the idea of someone being better than someone else and getting a bonus, and I would prefer it go fully to 2+ and 5+, or sorry, 2+ and 6+, I guess. But I can take it or leave it, to be honest. But yeah, I get that.
There's something about the character sheet where you looked at it and you're like, oh, my guy's got a 7 and my guy's got a 6. Oh, my guy's even cooler. Or you look at Mephiston and, oh my God, he's got like an 8. And you were just super excited about that. And I thought,
yeah, but then in a way, like, he's got an 8. He still hits on a 3.
Yeah, that was the part that frustrated me. Is like, I am the penultimate combat beast, and I rolled 5 2s.
It would be nice if it were something like if your skill is higher than the other person's skill, you reroll 1s to hit or something. That might be cool.
Or just play cards you never miss.
Yeah, just don't miss.
I find I don't miss it once the game is actually playing. I'm just like, oh, whatever.
Right.
Just the only time I miss it is when I'm like, wait, you're gonna hit me on what? Damn.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I a war boss with a big choppa hitting on 2s. I will take that. I will buy that for $1 for sure.
That's cool, and it reminds me of 30K because 30K is so bloody, and so the game waste like removed. I'm just like, this is amazing.
Awesome.
It's a fun game, and I really like it.
Awesome. That's great. Mike, Canada Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
What's Canada Mike? So what's your favorite thing about 8th so far, bud?
Let's see. I made a little list, and maybe Chris might appreciate this one. Charging from reserves, no scattering on deep strikes, and no rolling for reserves.
Oh, more Blood Angels
I'm in my
love.
happy place right now.
Well, yeah.
all the good
I was
stuff.
going to say Blood Angels and my other one, Grey Knights. Like, I can't believe how all of a sudden Grey Knights went from mediocrity to just pure awesomeness between that and the Stormbolters doing... like, I had a unit... Well, actually, I guess that's jumping ahead. But anyways, I had a unit of Grey Knights come down and just annihilate some Hive Guard purely from psychic and shooting. Never mind the fact that when they charged, they were able to go for a Turvagon, and it was a threat, because they're all doing 1d3 wounds every time they got through.
Yeah.
So, that's failing the fact that Assault's back, and it's bad.
Nice.
Like it's good, bad, good, a good. Never mind.
Back in a good way.
Yes, thank you.
Do you miss anything, buddy, or did they not do something that you'd have liked them to?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my Astra Militarum. Armor is a lot better in the sense that it's much more resilient, but because of it costs a lot more points, and the damage it deals out didn't really go up as much. So you get, like, for example, the same amount of points of tanks. I won't have as many tanks on the field, and they won't deal quite as much damage. So I have to kind of rethink of what I'm going to do with my Astra Militarum.
Yeah. And they're so easy to tie up too. So right.
Yeah, and once they get once that's it, because you're backing up, you're trying to reverse out of combat because they only hit in 6-ups in close combat.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's that's just the evolution of things.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And definitely flamers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna back up the flamers. Helldrakes. I miss the nuking of instant nuking of Stern Guard and tactical squads and all that sort of fun stuff.
Awesome. So last but not least, Big Jim. Big Jim, hey man. So have you gotten any games in? Are you having fun with it? What's your favorite thing so far?
I'm having a blast. My ultimate favorite thing is that I'm interested in 40K again.
Yeah.
I feel like I can play it again. I'm excited about it. Yeah, I just want to roll dice and kick ass.
Nice. That's awesome, dude.
My favorite gameplay thing is the fact the all or nothing AP system is dead. I've always been a much bigger fan of save modifiers, so the new AP system is right up my alley. Because over the years, I really grew to hate the AP system. I dealt with it in 3rd; it was okay. 4th, but by 7th, it was just insane.
Yeah.
You didn't take anything unless it was really low AP.
Or
you
lots
wanted
of DACA.
AP, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So those are my favorite things right off the bat.
Awesome. That's great. And any complaints? Any issues?
Yeah, I'm going to be that guy. I know it's not 40K, but the fact 30K is staying irritates the living shit out of me.
Understood.
I've totally lost all motivation for to paint my Ultramarines right now.
Right.
Yeah,
It'll happen.
I'm the same way.
It'll happen.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll
I
happen.
mean, I'm not
eventually.
too worried about that myself. I think that 30K functions in 7th just fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, with 8th, it's like choosing between my favorite children.
Yeah, I mean, I'll for my I'm gonna start with for my responses. I'm gonna start by echoing Jim. I'm kind of it basically hinges around my 30K army, which I still have played like 2 games with because nobody wants to play against my Imperial Knights. And nobody still wants to play against my Imperial Knights. I'm going to an event in Buffalo this August and not playing in their 30K event because I can't bring my army. And
Are they not allowing it?
No, no Questors Knights armies allowed. You can bring up.
That's lame.
I don't even own any other armies, so I was like, well, you can free up my spot because I can't come, and also it's kind of getting to be the same way in 40K though. A lot of people are getting upset about the Lord of War armies, and there's a lot of rumblings about not allowing full Lord of War armies. So I am,
man.
Yeah.
You know, let me tell you.
My last cannon spam.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, like it's to me. I don't know. Okay.
What were you saying, Chris?
Let me just jump in there because I mean there was a 3-night army in the event this last weekend. Didn't place in the top 10. You know, a guy I know. No hate to him. There was Angrath, the big demon lord, who is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't make the top 4. He was close. He was in the semifinals. But you know what won the tournament was a Gilliman with a Terminus Ultra Land Raider and a bunch of Assault Cannon Razorbacks. Yep. So
exactly
destroyed everything. So you want to talk about like the super heavy armies? I think that they're going to be good. I think everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
The flyer armies are good. There was a 2 Crimson Hunter, 1 Hemlock Wraithfighter army that did really well, took second.
Nice.
And everybody was saying Eldar sucks in the new edition. So, like, there's a lot of good things.
Why? Because they have to try now? Like, I don't see how. You don't just like throw your jock in the corner and go,
don't
fuck
buy
it,
into the
I won.
hype.
Like, yeah.
That's great.
With Knights, with Knights, everyone can do stuff to them now, right?
Mhm.
So they're only what top plus 8. So why? So this is the whole hatred on Knights in 7th kind of really wound me up. Like I have my 30K Knights as well, and I used to play them and translate them across into 40K, and it was great. It was really fun for me. Maybe not for anyone else, but for me it was great. And now this is the one thing I was really looking forward to on 8th was the fact that the kind of Knight hatred can stop, but it doesn't seem like it has.
No,
Like,
not yet.
if they can shoot them now.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
really expensive.
I'm hoping over time that will cool personally.
It's probably a holdover
Yeah.
from previous, bias.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
'Cause
deserved
the-
bias. Like I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
it was deserved, but at this point, let's give it a try.
Yeah, come on, it's been 3 weeks.
Go ahead, Jim.
Give it a chance.
Yeah. All right.
And
I don't think the problem is with Knights now because everything can interact with them. I think the problem before was like a large portion of people's armies couldn't interact with them, which could be frustrating. Now everything can hurt them, so I
Yeah.
don't see the problem.
Yeah, I don't see the problem either. So we'll see. I'm gonna bring my Knights to the game store tomorrow and hopefully get a few games in, and we'll see. And that's another great thing. A few games in one night. Hooga. Anyways, I'm going to talk about my favorite thing real quick, and that is the narrative gaming and the core rulebook. Everything from the narrative missions that they've shown us, and there's only like 6 of them in there, but it's an echo of things to come, I think. And I love the way that you can use stratagems to. You can add stratagems to these old mission objectives. All these old mission types and deployments. You can actually take these stratagems and even more focus on the very specific narrative that you're trying to tell, and the stratagems in the battle zones also, and how they're going to be adding stratagems to the codexes. These are great ways of. It's just genius. It's like genius to me because it scales with your army. You have a generic command point system, and then specific ways of spending those command points for your army or for the mission. And I think that has opened up a whole new level of narrative gaming and, to be honest, competitive gaming as well. And I just think that is just by far my favorite thing. It is going to open things up so well because missions are going to be, by definition, balanced from the beginning because it'll all be based on what size your army is. You don't have to give deference to one army or the other in a mission. So I think that's just going to be awesome.
I'm very interested to explore the narrative potential of 8th edition. I mean, I had just a couple weeks to get ready for my event, and I didn't really have time to dig into it. But I love that kind of play. I love having a story to tell, and I really want to see what we can do with it.
Awesome. So, we're getting a little long, so I might end up skipping one or two of these questions, but I definitely want to ask the next one of everyone here, because I think that it's telling of even more telling of how things are going than the previous question. So I'm going to start with the Adeptus Terra podcast again. Sam, what's your favorite gaming moment so far in the new edition?
Favorite gaming moment. Okay, cool. So I was playing my Astra Militarum, my entire tank regiment, and I had Pask with a Punisher Gatling cannon. Favorite loadout in 7th, so DNAT worked in 8th. And the favorite thing was having my friends' Terminators land right behind where I'd very kindly spread out my tanks, and all the time I'm thinking,
Adam, are you doing some sort of construction or something?
Oh, sorry. I was breaking up my iced coffee that was in the freezer. Sorry.
Yeah, you were.
I was just like, do you not like what he's saying? Is that like some kind of passive aggressive? Stop.
Oh, yeah, get behind those Lehman Russ. Get behind those Lehman Russ.
Good God.
That explains the stain on the back of that Lehman Russ they brought home.
Ask Carl about that. He knows all about tanks getting defiled.
Oh, I thought you meant about stains on Lehman Russ. Jesus.
All right, sorry, Sam. What were you saying?
Well, firstly, Carl, how is your Porsche?
Ooh.
Don't make Adam tell you twice, Sam. We already saw how violent he could be.
So, I was playing Salamanders, and a squad of Terminators dropped right behind me, and they instantly managed to multi-assault 2 Lehman Russes. And I was just like, how is this happening to me? Why am I losing? And this equally goes into the worst part of the game moment, because now if I'm in assault with units, with a unit, and if I reverse back to shoot them, like I'd have to do, I can't do that anymore. I can't shoot them from retreating.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really cool because actually, as much as I bitch and moan about it on our podcast, it's really cool because it does make complete sense. If I'm being assaulted from behind by 5 massive guys in Terminator armor, I'm not going to be able to turn the gun around and shoot them as quickly as possible. So that was really cool to see that now working. And actually, Terminators becoming pinpoint accuracy with their deep strike was really cool. Like, you're not losing them. We always play with loads of terrain, so him being able to put them down between like a building and an oil pipes and them actually arriving where they're meant to, like the technology is meant to happen. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, and it's great. You throw those Terminators in some terrain and you shoot a heavy bolter at them, they still have a 2-up save, and that's awesome.
Exactly.
I love that. Mark, Mark, have you had a favorite moment yet?
Yeah, if I can piggyback on that point, is I was playing a game against my friend Andrew. One thing is with the command points. Before we played the game, he lives up in northern Michigan, and we were exchanging emails back and forth, text messages back and forth, and we were coming up with our own stratagems for because we just went right into custom mission creation.
Yeah.
And we found that the use of the stratagems and the command points was really a great way to just kind of like have a discussion before the game occurred.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun to come up with some custom. Right away, I found myself wanting to explore the narrative side of mission creation, which I'm really into, kind of creating custom missions and things like that. But in the actual gameplay, to kind of reiterate or continue the deep striking. I had a unit. I was playing my Imperial Guard, and I had some stormtroopers, and I just got to hold them in reserve for when I wanted them to come in. I waited till the right moment. I got to deploy them tactically. I didn't have, they didn't scatter off the board. They didn't come in on a turn I didn't want them to. We've often joked on the podcast about reading some of the narrative in the books that the reason why those guys showed up late is they missed their reserve rolls or they didn't come in until turn 5 or something like that. We were kind of like, that's called coming in late from reserves. But the fact that I could play my army like the well-tuned machine that it's supposed to be, and less random. If I buy a unit of deep striking Terminators, I get to place them. I also really like. I really like that level of control. Yeah, that level of control is really fantastic. What Carl said before about really. I'm enjoying that a lot throughout the game.
Right. It's leaving it up to you to tell that story rather than the dice telling the story. Like, oh, these guys are going to show up late, so I'm not going to bring these in until turn 4 or whatever.
Even right down to leadership checks, because you no longer have an army never retreats. A unit never retreats unless you choose for it to retreat. Yep. It just takes attrition. Yep. So everything is in your hands to make decisions now.
Yep, and it you'll see that in rules throughout. Like if you look through the rules, you'll see that pop up not only in the core rules, but in the unit rules too. Plasma is a big example of that. You choose whether to take the risk. The game isn't telling you to take that risk. I'd love to see when the new Orc Codex comes out, I would love to see the shock attack gun get that same treatment, and a lot of the crazy Orc weapons to get that same treatment. Right now, everything's very reliable. And a lot of the Orc players are upset that everything is that reliable, but I'd love to see more choice to make things crazy in the future. So Peter, have you had a favorite gaming moment so far?
Yeah, so far I played my friend Al up in Appleton, and we end up having 2 of our librarians go toe to toe, and he had a Carcharodon librarian in Terminator armor, and I just had the standard one in regular power armor, and the combat managed to last for 2 turns because you're getting a save no matter what, which was awesome. But we're both like trying to smite the hell out of each other because you can do that even though you're stuck in close combat.
Mind bullets!
These librarians just duking it out in their head and swinging at each other, and then we managed to pull off some dramatic save, or you'd have another guy whiff 2 of the shots and he'd hit 1 and pull off a save, and then he'd smite the other one. Like, all I need is if I get this 3, you're screwed, man. There's that 1, and then. And for 2 turns, it went back and forth like that. So for four combat phases, this battle went on. And finally, at the end, I'm like, all right, smited him, and I got the big blow against his guy.
Nice.
And then I ended up tying the game, and it was awesome. It was glorious.
That's fantastic, dude.
I didn't expect it to happen.
That is fan-freaking-tastic. I love it. Chris Morgan, have you had any favorite moments yet?
Okay. I like. My favorite. my favorite was I was playing a game up in Boise, and basically Mephiston went on a rampage.
Yes.
So he got out of a flyer, ran over to a land raider, punked it, got charged by the 2 squads of berserkers that were in there, survived and punked both of them, then went over and ripped apart a Mauler Fiend, and then he smoked Karn to death with one smite, rolling a 10, while Karn was behind a wall, right in the first floor of a building, completely out of line of sight. But smite, it's just closest enemy; it doesn't require line of sight. So I was like, all right, well, he's the closest one, so I'll try it. Roll the 10, roll wounds, roll a 5, boom, mind bullets, and he was gone.
I love bullets.
That is fan-freaking-tastic. That is exactly what you want to see. That is exactly what you want to see.
Well, except for me, I'm playing the corn biker right now. Come on, man. Breaking my goddamn heart. I'm trying to finish this test model here.
Yeah, it's definitely making it hard. Oh, Carl.
He felt like he was supposed to feel.
Yeah, exactly.
And he had his role, and he performed his role. And every model that I've taken in the game that I've played so far, every model that I was like, you know what, these are elite killers, or this is an infantry killer. They do the job.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you know what? You make a really great point, Chris. You know, if you're looking at if the listeners out there are looking at a unit and they're like, I don't know if this guy's any good, like, or this guy can just die. It's like, well, you have to look at it from a lens of what is this unit's job? What is it supposed to do? Does it do that job? It doesn't have to do every job. Not like in the previous edition where a unit was good if it did all the things, right? So, Carl, what has been your favorite moment so far?
Playing Tyranids again.
Right, I can imagine.
Oh, they're so good.
Like just being able to put them on the table and not being like this is going to be a completely uphill battle has been nice. If we're talking individual moments, I had Tigerius fight and slay 3 Necron Wraiths in close combat over a period of rounds.
Nice.
There was some fantastic saving throws, but as you said, Smite is just freaking awesome. So just bringing down Wraiths, which are just a real pain in the ass, and have always been a pain in the ass to me, was fantastic. Like Psychers are just off the chain powerful, and I love it.
Yeah,
but it's
really
dangerous.
Cool. Yeah, it is dangerous, and I do love a couple of you guys have already mentioned like power armor really feels like power armor now, even against things like power fists. You're still getting that 6-up, that is sweet.
Right? Yeah, I like that a lot. That power armor still means something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Brian, have you had a favorite moment of Warhammer 40,000 8th edition?
I've had some really bad dice lately, so I've been on the receiving end of a lot of really bad, really awesome moments for other people. But,
that's nice.
No, I mean, I actually played about 6 games before I finally played my Dark Eldar the last 2. My favorite moment actually was 2 weeks ago, last Friday. So on the 5th, we had our first sort of like gaming club night on a Wednesday down at the store, and I remember I was playing my knights that night against an orc army, and I looked down and he had a dreadnought with 4 close combat weapons, and I was like, whoa, that thing actually can do work, and it did. It almost killed a knight. But I looked at another player and I was like, why aren't you playing? And he looked at me and said, all the tables are full.
Oh, yep. That's nice.
And I looked over and I was like, holy shit, I haven't seen that since like 5th edition here in Santa Cruz. And so that was my favorite moment, was just seeing all these people having fun and the store literally not having enough room.
That's awesome
for everybody, and
that is awesome.
This is good.
That is awesome. Jason Mullins, have you had any favorite moments yet?
Yeah, actually, this was the kind of the defining moment where I was like, I love this game. I was playing a doubles game with my Dark Eldar, my friend Andy's Eldar against Imperial Guard. There was a knight on the table. So Andy's Wraith Knight charges it, fails. Kills Andy's Wraith Knight, which detonates, and then takes out on the side of the table. like swinging the game in our favor. It was insane. When things detonate now, it's crazy, and it was just awesome. Like,
yeah,
it was just an epic
detonations
moment.
are gross. Detonations are super gross. In case listeners missed that, Jason was talking about he had a Wraith Knight explode on the other side of the table and wreak havoc. That was we've had a few of those moments as well. Those are awesome. It's like, oh, do I want to be next to my truck right now? I don't know. My buddy,
one of my opponents actually started driving his Lehman Russes into the middle of my guardsmen in the hopes that they would detonate once they got down to two wounds left. I was taking off the last few wounds with front rank, second rank fire. I was actually achieving that. Most of the damage done with las cannons, and then doing front rank, second rank, and taking off his. So he was just driving straight into the middle of my army and hoping for that 1 in 6 explosion, because he'd do more damage to my guardsmen doing that than what he was achieving. He had really rotten dice that night.
Well, and there are some vehicles that are more likely to explode than others.
Oh, yeah.
So, like when I was reading the rules for this Dark Eldar Reaper that I was putting together, it's actually not bad in close combat, but I was looking at it and it actually blows on a 5. And I think the Hellhound is the same way too. And so I was like, when this thing gets down to like 2 or 3 wounds, you know exactly what you're doing with this. And you can picture like, the just like drug crazed S&M maniac that's on it, just like, screaming, "Witness me," and driving this thing straight into whatever,
Witness me.
So the Burna Bomber is a 4-up. And
Whoa.
Oh man.
Yeah, I generally run with like between 7 and 12 command points, so yeah, you bet
can
your
reroll
ass
all
I'm
that
re-rolling that. Yeah.
He just he walks to a game table and he's got like all the chains and command points like blinging out of his everywhere.
Well, it's orcs, right? So it's like, yeah, boys are freaking amazing now. I'm taking all of them. So, okay, great. Let's see. Mike, have you had you already talked about your favorite moment, right?
Yeah, I talked about the Grey Knights code dropping. That's my favorite. The other one was Lehman Russ overwatching, one of the DACA ones, the Punisher cannons, and 3 heavy bolters. I had a squad of G-Stealers charge that thing, and only half the squad made it to it.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, that was all they needed, but still, that was pretty awesome.
I dread the day I have to assault a Land Raider Redeemer. I absolutely dread it. So Big Jim, what's been your favorite moment so far?
Oh, I had a Defiler rampage through a bunch of Crimson Fists, and it survived the game.
Yes.
I can't tell you the last time a Defiler survived a 6-round game.
Fantastic.
No, it happened. No, it happened in 2003. I think it was in a small town in Oklahoma, and somebody failed the reserve roll 5 times. That's the last time.
Day that will live.
I read about it on the internet, so it must be true.
It must be true. I'm gonna have to echo what Brian said. We had an opening. We had an open day or opening event at our store. Mike showed up. Thanks for coming, Mike. And he drove all the way from Toronto to play with us, and the store was just chock full. We
nuts.
could not. We had 2 tables out, set up outdoors. That's how, and we were playing team games. That is how many people. We don't have that small a store. I mean, our store isn't huge, but it was amazing. And every Monday night since, we've had at least 7 tables running, and that's really good for us. So I am just I'm over the moon with how it's opened up to new players, and how happy it's made new players
and returning players. I mean, a lot of the people on the internet I had seen say this is stupid or this is dumbed down and I'm quitting. Great, go ahead, because it makes room for a lot of people who are returning, and it feels like I have never seen so much excitement about this game. I've been through this is my 4th edition change for me, and it's never felt like this before. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, you know what? I'll actually reiterate an actual moment for you guys. I know we're running a little late, but I think this is key. I have a buddy, Darwin, who he hasn't been to the store in several months. He runs Black Templars, but he's a great guy and he's a good hobbyist and everything, and he's a lot of fun to play with. And he was playing against me. I was running my orcs, and he had his Templars. He had his Land Raider Crusader out there, and he had 2 units of Crusader squads on this big ruin that we have. It's got stairs, and it's got this like awesome. It's got several levels where you can put your guys. So he had all his guys up there with his bolters, and he had I think it's the chaplain. Someone help me out here. Grimaldus. He had Grimaldus up there. And I teleported over with my orcs. Badoink. I had 30 orcs standing there, and I start shooting them, and I fail my charge. Great, whatever. And he's going through the motions, and he chooses not to move with his guys, and then he chooses not to shoot with his bolters. I'm like, dude, don't you want to shoot me? And he goes, all right, I can shoot you with my bolters and then assault you. I'm like, yes, you can. And it's so imagine, if you will, this scene where the Black Templars are leaping from the parapets of this building and charging down the steps, guns blazing and crashing into these orcs. Everybody whipped into a frenzy by the chaplain and just decimating all the orcs in one fell swoop. Like, I could see it in his face, right? Like, I could see that he would be coming back. And that is exactly what we're talking about, right?
Must have gone to the Blood Angel School of Defending a Building.
So that's kind of what I think that's just key to what we're looking for with this new game and what we can expect to see going forward. I'm really happy.
Oh yeah, totally. I have 4 friends that have not played since 4th edition that are now either dusting off models or building new armies because they sold their armies. Mm-hmm. They want to play 40K again.
That's awesome. So for the last question, I'm gonna merge the last 2 questions and give you guys an opportunity to answer one of the 2, okay? Because we're almost done here. Matt, or sorry, not Matt. Matt's not here. Sam, either tell me about what project you're most excited about in the coming months for the new edition, or what part of the lore you're most excited about being explored by Black Library or the campaign books.
I'm projects for me. This edition has kind of rekindled my drive to try and get some more completed armies under my belt. So I guess my project I'm most looking forward to is my 1,500 points worth of orcs that I'm starting from scratch. I now have like 2 trucks and 24 boys or something like that.
Nice.
But it's an insane bike force. So I need to get bikes, and I need to convert a load of big guns and buggies, and yeah. So I'm really excited about doing that and being able to play that thematic kind of games that are coming out from like the narrative section of the rulebook and coming up with our own stuff. So definitely my orcs.
Awesome. I love to hear that. That is music to my ears. Mark, do you have a project that you're most excited about, or is there something in the lore that you're really excited about?
Well, it has absolutely reinvigorated my hobby progress.
Mm-hmm.
Pete and I have been talking recently about our hobby slumping, and I notice he's trimming sprues furiously while we're look at him go. I've been painting my guard. I've got some Terminators. I haven't had Terminators in my force ever. In my in like the 6 or 7 years I've been playing Space Marines. I haven't had Terminators. I am excited. Mm-hmm. I'm just excited to get. 7th was giving me a slump, and 8th is giving me the bump, and I've got a new wet palette I put together.
Ooh, fancy.
I'm digging through old sprues. It's really reinvigorated me. It's given me a new lease on life. Yeah.
That is so awesome.
I've stopped wasting evenings, and I'm getting back down into the hobby. So that's really what I'm most excited about. It's selfish, but it's about my own rebirth into the hobby.
No, that's fantastic, dude. I have to take a 1 hour a night challenge to only paint an hour a night at this point, or else someone might divorce me. Peter.
It's not your dog.
No. Well, he gives me the dirty stink eye when I walk past him into the office too. He's like, wait, are we not cuddling right now? Because I feel like we need to be cuddling right now. Peter,
she won't leave you. You're looking like Brad Pitt after losing all that weight. There's no way.
Yeah, well, the great thing about losing weight is you can actually see what's going on down there. Like, whereas before you just had to guess at what was happening. Now I'm like, wow, look at all the stuff that's going on down there. This is exciting. So
Adam's greatest 40K moment
is the fact that you don't have to look in the mirror anymore. So Pete.
Wait, in coincidence that you're painting Emperor's Children right now?
Totally not a coincidence.
That's a really good point. I think you guys have got me.
That's some serious heresy right here.
Peter, I assume you're very excited about your hobby.
I am. I'm. The new Primaris Marines they look awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 boxes later, I'm still descrewing. I had 3,500 points. I can't believe I have 3,500 points of that stuff already. And I decided to bring back an old chapter, so I'm bringing back the Rainbow Warriors.
Nice.
Just like, hey, I haven't seen this since Rogue Trader, and just pull it out. I'm gonna do this. So I get to do Carl's favorite color and paint blue, but it doesn't have to have that U on it. I can just.
You know what planet the Rainbow Warriors are from, right?
Yeah, Prism.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes that makes total sense. Peter,
and Hawaii.
My hometown has a infantry division called the Rainbow Division. They're the 42nd Infantry in Troy, New York. So, a little bit of trivia there for you. So Chris Morgan, is there anything in the hobby or in the lore that you're really excited about for 8th edition?
I'm sure everybody knows where my heart's at in the lore.
Yeah.
It'd be almost cliche to bring it up, but I read recently Dark Imperium and got through that pretty quick. I'm quite the Black Library junkie, but so far as where the Imperium is going in the lore in general and how the interactions between the old Marines and the Primaris Marines are going to influence each other, because that book already sets the
Please
stage.
Don't spoil anything yet, because I'm just into it.
I'm in the same boat. I haven't got a chance to read it yet.
Just give me a warning. I'm reading it right now. So.
No problem.
But it sets the stage for how they perceive each other and the conflict that can be driven from that. And they're not just ignoring it. They're not just saying, "Oh no, everything's fine. Primaris Marines are cool with their little brothers," and vice versa. And then how the traitorous Astartes look at the new Primaris Marines, and it's a very interesting dynamic, and great narratives are driven by close conflicts. So I'm excited to see where that's going. So that's what I'm going to pick, because you guys already know the other answer.
Excellent. Yeah, and Guy did say he does have a. I don't know if you caught the last episode of our show, but Guy did say he has some Blood Angel stuff coming up, so that should be very exciting.
Oh, I love it. November, I think he's got a full novel about that whole defense, and I've got a lot of faith in him. So.
Well, he kind of crushed my dreams, because I read the rule book, and the rule book basically said that the Bloodthirster basically saved all the Blood Angels. He's like, you gotta read the book.
Deus Ex Machina and Diabolus Ex Machina at the same time, right?
Dante knows it. The Emperor knows it. Everybody knows it.
Nobody knows it.
Shut your heretical mouth.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, Chris Morgan, tell us how you really feel that we need to Gilliman in the save ball.
Well, you know, he is pretty much the only one that could have done it.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm sorry, could you say it again into the microphone?
Hey, man, well, my son plays Ultramarines now, so I can't, you know.
That's awesome.
It was just Gilliman trying so hard to make up for the fact that he was too late to save Sanguinius.
You know
because
what?
He was too busy protecting his little pocket empire.
You know what, though? There
to
might
care about the wider Imperium.
There's probably
so.
something to that, Chris. Though you know, you say it as a joke, but there probably is something to that.
Could be.
Yeah, I really do. So Carl, anything? What are you most excited about in the hobby or the lore?
Man, I've got some. I'm suffering from kind of bouncing from thing to thing a lot lately. I am excited about working on some Tyranids. I too, though, am a huge fan of the Primaris Marine models. I think they're amazing. I have to see how the lore kind of plays out around them, but I am working on Howling Griffin's chapter for the Primaris Marines. So
you're brave, very brave.
It's not that hard. I kind of set it up in my head to be harder than it was.
It helps that like the chest pieces and everything are all kind of broken up, so you don't really have to draw that many straight lines, to be honest.
Yeah, look, doing the quartered pattern is actually not that hard. It's more the dealing with the yellow that was my concern. So, but I even my Tyranids, like I've been sitting on a, not literally, but figuratively sitting on a Bio-Titan for years.
Gotta hatch that egg.
Unpainted. Yeah, it's completely unpainted, so I'm excited to maybe get that thing painted up and actually put it on the table too.
That is rad. Brian, you got your super heavies going, right?
Not too much, really. No, I'm just I'm painting up this Khorne World Eaters army and Khorne Demons army that I've been sitting on for a long time and was just kind of waiting for inspiration. So yeah, I mean, I've been painting up a test. Yeah, I mean, I've just been painting up a test biker like while we've been doing this, so it's pretty fun. I mean, my goal this month is just to paint 100 power level Chaos army and have it ready to go, and then yeah.
Are you? So you're kind of like me.
Brian.
You're kind of like.
Well, 25 of it is a Kaitan, so it's like yeah, it's
Oh, nice.
So you're kind of like
I paint a lot.
You're kind of like me, where it's like, yeah, but I already have 28,000 points of my actual army, so
yeah,
I guess I'm doing.
Can I add one point there that I have my 30K hobby has taken a tremendous hit as a result of this. I am frustrated that it hasn't moved to 8th edition. I truly believe that it will eventually move to 8th edition. I think we have some clear indications as to why it hasn't moved yet.
Yeah.
I do not think they can sustain a 7th edition version of it forever. It involves too many things like Demon Codex updates and rules updates. And while they can probably do the rules fine, they're just taking on a lot more than if they were to just eventually switch over. And I think we'll see it eventually.
You think we're waiting for the Black
But right now, I think so. I think because then you have a choice, right? You have everything in 7th edition to play it at 7th edition, or you can now adopt over if you were a big fan of the 7th edition version. But for me, like I had a entire Night Lords army I was just about to get commissioned painted by our buddy Colin, and I backed off of that, and I was like, oh, never mind, here, do my Thousand Suns instead, because I had already committed to having something painted by him, and so I didn't want to leave him hanging.
So wait, you stopped buying Forge World?
Say it again?
I got to hop on Scott's trade. Hold on.
No, I'm not saying I'm not buying Forge World. It's not 30 cases.
I gotta sell.
They do make 40K products. So.
I think it's frustrating that they didn't switch over in a way, and that they're kind of going forward with books for 7th for Horus Heresy, because I, like Carl, think that it is eventually going to switch.
Yeah,
frustrating to just switch.
Yeah, it is. It is very interesting, and I feel like they didn't give them as much like lead time. I don't know. We have no way of knowing, but I feel like Forge World didn't have as much lead time as we're led to believe. and that might be an unfortunate reality. Anyways, Jason, are you? So you're working on your Dark Eldar?
Yeah, I'm doing Eldar Pirate, so I'm actually both and Craft World, and I'm doing them in the old Uthway color.
What?
Uthway? That is.
I'm really. Yeah.
So is that
Are you having a
black?
hard time hearing me?
No, sorry.
Yeah, we're a little bit of a hard time, but Peter didn't mute himself before he walked away. So.
Yeah, sorry. So I was just having you reiterate for the listeners. So that's a black. There's a black and like bone white scheme, right?
That's what they are.
Yeah, the old school black and yellow one.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. What did you start with?
So far I have like half Craft World, and I'm just kind of mixing and matching units. I'm going to run them as pirates. So I'm kind of I'm excited about that. Like witches, some Kabbalah raiders, some guard.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Peter, can you mute yourself?
Oh, sorry.
But the whole thing making me really excited is that the whole keyword system, I'm able to kind of mix and match and make my own narrative force and use it that way. And that's really exciting. I think it's really cool. I guess we haven't really touched on the keyword system, but that's something that is really cool about this edition.
It's so good.
Yeah, it really is. That also keys into, you know, making your army, making your army unique, and making it what you want it to be. And that is like I've been really enticed with Eldar since the campaign came out, because I love the idea of these sundered kin coming back together to fight for a common cause, and that really seems awesome to me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That like has really kind of tickled my fancy, and like I've been reading a lot of the Dark Eldar, Black Library novels, and just the idea of making my own pirate captain, and then kind of having this disparate force that he's trying to keep together, kind of in a narrative sense, is really 40K.
Mm-hmm. That is cool. For me, like I've been thinking about maybe doing the story of like an Eldar and an Eldar brother and a Dark Eldar sister, like coming together under the Yanari to fight Slaanesh. And I thought that would be a really cool story to tell too. But yeah, we're just starting kind of talking about our D&D characters here. So let's move on. Mike, what are you working on? Are you more excited about what kind of projects are you excited about working on now? Are you kind of? I noticed you've been doing your Imperial Guard, but have you had? Are you more into the Blood Angels now?
Actually, I don't know. Like right now, I'm painting Sisters of Battle for some silly reason. Anyway, so yeah, I'm a bit lost. But really, actually, the faction I'm most excited about is go back to my original one, which is Chaos and Black Legion.
Mm-hmm.
When is the Black Legion book coming out? I don't know, but I mean Aaron Bound Dembski. Sorry. Anyways, that. And what's going on right now is so awesome, especially if you look at the Chaos Forge World book. The units in there are incredible, and it's so characterful. Like the Hellforged vehicles, as they lose hull points, they go from being good at shooting to good at close combat.
That is awesome.
So like a Predator tank starts at being like a 5-up to hit in close combat and a 3-up to hit shooting. And by the time it's done, it's hitting on a 3-up in close combat with like 5 attacks. And like, you know, it's just ridiculous. Like all of a sudden it's like, oh, this Predator's almost dead. Perfect. It's going to blow up. Charge it in and let it kill some guys and then blow up and kill some more guys. And also like, yeah. And people were talking about things blowing up. Look at the Greater's, the Greater's Brass Scorpion. That thing blows up on a 4-up and it is just apocalyptic. Like, it literally, that thing is meant to just charge in and die and then kill everything that's left over on the enemy side.
Wow.
Nothing Riverdance is better than a brass scorpion.
Yes, exactly, too.
Just a little bit of inside baseball there, Mike. Their entire list for the team tournament is the Greater Brass Scorpion of Khorne.
Yeah, Nick, right? Yeah. he's the one, yeah. Yeah,
All right.
I figured as much.
Big Jim, I saw you working on some Space Wolves.
No, not since eighth dropped. It's all chaos, baby.
Oh, he. You know what? His head is like a bearded head, so I assumed it was Space Wolves.
No. I'm finally rebuilding my army that was stolen and then replaced by the Great 40K community.
Oh, cool.
I finally have the desire and drive to do that.
That's awesome, dude.
So I'm painting chaos like a madman.
That is awesome. So excellent. So, guys, is there anybody who has anything they want to? Whoa! Has somebody got their volume way up? Anybody getting volume out of their speakers?
We're caught in an infinite feedback loop.
Okay, I think we're good now. All right, I'm going to go down the line. Is anybody got anything else they want to add? Anything else they're really excited about? I first want to apologize to the listeners because there's way less shenanigans than last time, probably because I am not way super drunk.
And neither am I.
Yeah, it's brutal. So, Sam, do you have anything you want to add before we close out the show?
Just out of peer pressure, I've started drinking cider, so makes everyone feel better that I am now drinking.
Excellent.
A little late to the party there, Sam.
Well, just catch up, I guess.
Better late than never.
Nothing really 8th edition wise. I'm just super excited that me and all my friends are all reinvigorated for 40k. Give us a bit of a push on that. We've all got bigger 40k armies, so it means that our games are a lot more interesting because we're all building up to having 3,000 points to 30k.
Awesome.
At the moment, so it means that our games are a lot better narratively, and that's obviously what we're really about. So that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to having more and more games.
That's great. And everybody, check out the Adeptus Terra podcast. Their last episode. If you liked our last episode, I think the Adeptus Terra podcast last episode was really good for kind of filling in the gaps where we didn't go into a lot of detail. We've been doing a lot of work with the campaign books, and we kind of glossed over a lot of the Warzone information, and you guys went into some great detail about the Warzone. So everybody should go ahead.
Detail.
Yeah, you guys should go ahead and check that out. If you have a 4-hour commute, you can go ahead and dial that up.
So much detail.
Mark, Peter, do you guys have anything you want to add?
Well, I got to say, yes, Sam, your last episode was really great with the war zones. I'm still finishing it off, and it is like a 4-hour long episode, but it was great. I'm thankful for the entire community and everybody on here. I'm a fan of half of the people on here, so I'm kind of humbled to be part of this group.
Yeah, but fuck you, Mike. You're useless. Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
I'm now a fan of Mike. All
right, good. So a little more than half.
Tell me how you really feel.
No, but I look forward to hearing a lot more about what this edition has to offer in the future. I think it's a really nice base to build a really great house upon. It's really got some potential.
Yeah, I agree. It's like they've built a new programming language, and we're just starting or a new code base, and we're gonna start like experimenting with it.
Mm-hmm.
Peter,
I'm looking forward to tinkering with it. Yeah,
Peter.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. I'm a big fan of a lot of the folks that are on this Google group too. And as far as the 40K goes, I'm looking forward to more games in this new edition. It's very exciting. I had some concerns with, myself running the Apocalypse event and how that's going to affect that, how it's going to play out. So, but the community seems to be open about testing, trying out the new things with the new rules and power level points and things like that, and just looking at how things are so easy to use in the system, because it's a simple system, but the units make it complex. but you can really pull off of that simplicity and draw from things. So it's like, oh, well, how would this work? How can I recreate like the stratagems and things like that are in Apocalypse, and pull it to eighth edition. And luckily, the groundwork is already laid to be able to pull from different areas and recreate that same thing using those command points that they already created, instead of trying to fully use what was already in the previous editions for the Apocalypse stuff. Instead, say, well, here's these great command point setups. Use those, and those now are how you get like strategic assets or something like that in the game, which is exactly what they've already created in 8th Ed. It's just ramping up the effect of things.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So instead of, oh, this guy gets this kind of effect on their side, instead it's maybe an army-wide effect instead of a singular, and then.
And the great thing in narrative play,
do that.
you don't limit yourself to one per turn either. So if you have like 30 command points, you can just do the same one 4 times in a turn if you wanted to. And that's great for scale purposes too.
Right. It's very scalable.
Yeah,
I like that.
Absolutely. Everybody should check out NGC 40K. You guys you just wrapped up your coverage of the Sanctus Reach campaign, which is great because of course it had orcs in it and everything. I was really enticed to pick it up and I never did. So it was nice to hear that story from your perspective, and you guys played a couple games with it
You mean
now,
part 1?
Huh?
You mean the first half of the campaign?
Right. Yeah, that's right. There's a lot more to that, but
there's a lot more.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I feel like I want to pick that up now just because it'll probably be cheap at the store, and it's got some awesome stuff in it. And again, we can reuse a lot of those missions and stuff narratively. Just turn some of the special rules into stratagems, and you're good to go, right?
Oh, certainly. And it's not like it's not relevant. The thing somebody brought up to me of like, well, isn't that old hat? Now it's all old edition. It's like Shield of Baal. That just happened in the fluff, because they're picking up right where the Tyranids left off in the new book. I mean, literally in the fluff wise, it just happened. So it's not like it's old. You still totally play that out.
Yep. Captain Morgan, do you have any closing thoughts before we move on?
Well, if we're allowed to say anything,
yep.
I think I should end it with Magnus was misunderstood.
Magnus didn't do any.
Shit.
Eddie, if
Bastard got what he deserved.
I doubt very highly that Eddie from the Warhammer TV crew is listening to this. But if he is, he will be very proud of you.
Magnus did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Everybody should listen to Forge the Narrative. A lot of our listeners may consider it a competitive 40K podcast, but from my perspective, you guys treat the whole hobby with a great deal of respect, and I really appreciate that. So you guys do a great job.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for coming on. Carl from the Independent Characters. I don't think I need to entice people to go see your podcast, but that's. Do you have any closing thoughts?
No. I mean, it was interesting. You made a comparison to a programming language or a platform because I think those of us who are involved in the technology industry and that kind of thing see exactly how this rule set is being built as a framework on which they can adjust and manipulate things going forward. And I think it shows actually really innovative game design, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So. I'll leave with that.
That's awesome. Just as long as
thanks for letting me join. Honestly, I'm sorry I missed the last one. I very much wanted to be a part of it and just didn't get a chance. But I listened to almost all these podcasts and I really do enjoy them.
That's great. Thanks again, Mike. Your podcast sucks. He's not talking about you.
No, not Mike.
I love you, Mike. I love you, Mike. He's my favorite Canadian, except for except for Pete, who's not a Canadian, but I think he sounds like one. So, Brian, do you have any closing thoughts?
What does that mean?
What's it all about?
What's it all about?
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Who the hate?
Mike's like Mike drives 500 miles to see me every like 2 months. You'd think I would be nicer.
It's only 450, but thanks. Yeah.
You got thrown off in the metric conversion there.
Is that 500 kilometers? I don't.
Actually, yeah, I don't even know what it is in miles, just kilometers.
Yeah, Brian, what? Any closing thoughts?
No, the only one is just go out and play games.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's fun. And I haven't been this excited to play 40K in a very long time. You know, and doing a Dark Eldar podcast where you're just like, I hate this army right now. And, you know, it was just, you know, like I said the last time, I felt like I was lying into a microphone for an hour once a month. Yeah. And now I'm legitimately excited to play them. But the problem is I'm legitimately excited to play every army that I own. So it's just kind of, you know, it's great. It's great.
That's awesome. And Splinter Mind is a wonderful podcast. You guys have a great rapport. I love listening to your podcast. Everyone should check it out.
And Brian has a sexy voice.
Oh God, yes. Well, listeners will remember that I asked Brian to narrate our Good Morning Imperium of Man podcast when we did the kind of narrative news stories. And you're my
That's right.
first.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, good morning, Imperium of Mankind. We need to do another one of those.
Serious voice envy right now.
Right? And Chris, your voice is still pretty good.
It was like 18 years. It was 18 years of chain smoking that did it, I think. So I'll be dead before you. Don't worry about it.
Jason, do you have any closing thoughts?
I'm just really excited about the possibilities for narrative in 8th edition. It's really cool, and just being brought back into 40K is amazing.
That's great. And thank you so much for showing up at the last minute. Like literally, like the negative last minute, actually, because we were just chatting. Like, I should have Jason on this thing. So everyone should check out the Sons of Heresy podcast. It's very well produced. Like, you guys hit the ground running. It does help that you guys had experience before, but still, you guys are fucking crushing it over there, and I love listening. I love listening to it.
And give Johnny cuddles from me.
Mm-hmm.
I will. Adam will be featured on this podcast that will be out right after I finish recording. I'm waiting to do the minutes, and then it will be out tonight. So
I just realized that I'm probably going to be keeping you awake because you have to put out your podcast tonight.
Yeah, it's all done except for the minute. So yeah.
Thanks, dude. Mike, my buddy Mike from Canada. Do you have any closing thoughts besides "fuck you, Adam"?
Take off, hoser.
Take off.
Anyways.
Well played.
So, thanks to everyone having me on. I realize I'm not the most articulate and obviously at least the least authoritative of this group to be on here, and I just appreciate you guys including me in on it.
You give way too much credit to this group.
Stop it.
We're all just people with microphones, like, really.
Yeah. Well, you're people with microphones that have put a lot of effort into making great podcasts, and I actually listen to every single one. They're all on my regular thing, and my commute's 2 hours, so...
Oh my God,
It only takes me 2 days to get through to Adeptus Terra podcast. So.
You know, like, that's really good. That's really good that you can do it in 1 day. Like.
Yeah, well, listen, Toronto, the way it's been going, some days, actually, I could probably go, it would take me 1 day to just get through your podcast. There have been days when major events are going on. Yeah.
All right, Big Jim, I really feel like that we've missed an opportunity here because we haven't had any important messages for some of our Facebook friends out there.
Like what?
Like go fuck yourself or die in a fire.
That's true. I have been rather tame this time, but it's only 2 drinks this time instead of half a bottle.
Well, I'll do it for you. People not listening, go fuck yourself, die in a fire.
Okay, it wasn't that bad. Jesus Christ.
Well, no, but like seriously, some of this Facebook hate just doesn't make any sense to me. This edition has been awesome.
It doesn't. I've just gotten to where I ignore it.
Yeah.
You either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm not. I can't be bothered. They're gonna whine about it. They're gonna whine about it. I've left a ton of 40K groups already.
That's a very adult way to look at it.
I don't need the negativity.
No.
Exactly. I mean, we came here to play 40K and give a fuck, and we're all out of fucks. So let's just play 40K.
It's a goddamn game. I mean, holy crap! Roll dice, laugh, and hang out with your friends.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. That's a great.
I'm really looking forward to getting my narrative on. Maybe running a narrative event at the end of the year.
Hell yeah.
That would be freaking rad, dude. And I think that's a great sentiment to end it on, everybody. Go out there, play games, and have fun. Thanks for joining me, everyone. I really appreciate it for you taking your time
thanks for having me, man.
record with me.
Thank you, Adam.
Don't forget Sam, Disney.
Cheers, everybody.
Peace out, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Thanks a lot, you guys.
Hey, everyone. This is Justin from the It Will Not Die podcast. If you love listening to podcasts that are positive and excited about the hobby, come check us out. We're on the Freebooters Network now, along with other great podcasts like The Independent Characters, 40K Radio, D6 Generation, Nerd Herders, and many more. And remember, it doesn't matter how you love the hobby, just do it.
Nailed it.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for listening. I think that was a lot of fun. Be sure to tune in. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and on iTunes with reviews and all the things.
Yeah.
I think we'll forego the ad nauseum for this one, but thanks for listening. Be sure to go to your local hobby shop and check out the Fate of Konor. I think you'll want to participate in that because that's a super lot of fun. You want to be a part of 40K history. Do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish there was a place locally that was doing it, but oh well.
Oh.
I'll just have to show up for some pickup games and get involved.
Or fly to Albany.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit.
So Wendy informed me that she wanted to surprise me, but she knows how I like to plan things years in advance. And this year I missed Adepticon. Last year I missed Adepticon, but last year was because of England, so that's fine. But this year I missed. Next year I'm going to miss Adepticon again because we're going to Disney World. I really tried to say, listen, Disneyland is better. Nobody listens to me. I don't know if it's true or not. I was just trying to get them to believe that because then we could go to California instead. So we're not doing Adepticon again, which sucks because I have so many friends I want to see. So everything, a lot of that's con season for 40K. Like the Las Vegas Open is around then, so I'm not going to that.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, and like the East Coast ones, like Nova Open, that's later, but that's I don't know anybody who's going to that. I don't think, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get all of our friends to go to Astronomicon again this year, which I definitely want to go to again because that was super awesome.
Yeah.
So what's Amanda do? Wendy wanted to surprise me with a trip to California, which sounds awesome. So I think in 2018 I'm going to be doing a trip to California at some point.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that'll be cool.
I need to save up for that. That should be fun. It's like I said, I don't think I'm going to coincide it with any event. I think I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
And we'll see what we do there. I'd really like to do. I mean, is there any way I can get you out for Astronomicon?
I don't know. I'd have to look at that.
We're also Wendy and I are also thinking about going to Adepticon, or not Adepticon, Gen Con together, That'll be like a more of a family friend thing. Are you interested in trying out Gen Con? Because, dude, that convention is unreal. 2016 attendance was 60,000. 60. 60,000 people went to Gen Con. Nerds completely take over Indianapolis. It is like everything changes. Like all of the restaurants, it's like it's not just in the convention center. Like all of the restaurants in downtown like change themselves to facilitate nerd culture. Like the movie theater shows nothing but science fiction and fantasy movies. Like the entire time. Yeah, they don't even play first runs during a Gen Con. They don't even bother. They just play all the sci-fi and fantasy stuff. It's unbelievable. So you should think about it because it's usually in August, mid-August.
I know that this summer I'm not going to be able to do stuff, but next year I think Gen Con would be the best bet because it's 17th through the 20th though. Isn't that the beginning of the semester for you? Yeah, that's the beginning of my semester.
Oh,
yeah.
That is awful. Why do they do that?
Well, I'm going to have to figure out some stuff because like I know things are going to be a lot better with everything starting in October.
Okay.
I just got to figure out when and where.
Okay, cool. So again,
did we do an outro?
More tangents for the listeners.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
So some of us may be wandering into your area sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah.
Yeah, because I have a KR backpack now, and I can actually load a lot of points in that stupid thing.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I'm wanting to do is to start taking that with me and, go to workshops for a couple of days and then set up to where I have an extra day where I just go and, play games, maybe meet listeners, etc.
Nice.
Go
That'd
and,
be awesome.
Inflict my personality on other people.
Awesome. That's great. If you're in the area, be sure, if you're anywhere near me, be sure to let me know because don't worry. Only if the ponytail's back. I'm not interested in. I try not to say culturally insensitive things on this podcast, but I have to say I'm not totally interested in hanging out with gender neutral Jason. I want the ponytail back. So just keep that in mind for if you visit. Okay.
Okay, listeners. What that means is when I have long hair, I look more masculine.
It's true. You do. That's just it.
Which is kind of creepy, but whatever.
Okay. It's time to end this show. Tune in next week for a podcast about the Iron Warriors, the Iron Whatevers.
Yeah.
Until then,
play the game the way you want to.
And wear your hair the way you want to. Don't listen to Adam. He's he was born in the 90s. He's culturally insensitive. He's still carrying around that baggage. Nailed it.
Good night, everyone.
The music used in this podcast was made by Parad of the duo Sublevel 3. The track is used with his permission. This podcast is protected by the Creative Commons Attribution, No Derivatives, Non-Commercial International License. More information about this license and contact information if you have any requests can be found at our blog, mastersoftheforge.com.
It's such a good feeling to play games your way. It's such a happy feeling 40K'ing away. And when you throw dice with story in mind, it's such a wonderful way to unwind. It's a good feeling, a very good feeling, the feeling you know that we'll be back when the fortnight's new, and we'll have new ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. We will too.